decade, my wife and I have struggled to find wholesome films to watch with our boys. Now, any family who enjoys a good, clean movie will exhaust their options rather quickly. And by good and clean, I primarily mean films void of profanity, sexual innuendo, and gratuitous violence. It's nearly inconceivable to me why we need to so often go back decades to find movies that inspire and entertain. Hits like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Sound of Music, and Mary Poppins are classics that have stood the test of time and appeal to audiences of all ages, but they were all made before I was even born. Some argue studios are responding to market realities, and the fact that young families are more likely to stay home and stream their entertainment from other sources. Since older audiences are now more likely to go to the theater, there's less incentive to produce G-rated content. But this theory belies the reality that families have demonstrated a willingness to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on movies that don't offend their or their children's sensibilities. Now, if we want to change and soften the coarseness of culture, one of the very best ways is to encourage Hollywood to produce content that will not only generate a profit, but that won't come at the expense of children's minds and morals. Despite what too many industry executives seem to think and believe today, box office history demonstrates it's possible to produce films that feed and develop healthy young minds and also generate hearty corporate bottom lines. For Focus on the Family, I'm Paul Batura.
You've been listening to the Fox News Rundown. To hear the podcast version of this program, go to foxnewspodcasts.com. And for all the latest news, go to foxnews.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. And right now you can save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. Just text FOG to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text FOG to 200-300 right now to save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings won't last long. Text FOG to 200-300. Don't wait. Text the word FOG to 200-300. Text FOG to 200-300.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Your new kitchen appliances look stunning.
Thanks. We had a blast shopping for them at National Appliance Warehouse. There's over 100 brands in their huge showroom. The best part was knowing everything was at the best price.
You must have done a ton of research.
Oh, we didn't need to. They use a cutting-edge technology called Price Assure. It searches prices online and updates electronic Price Assure tags in real time to make sure theirs is the lowest.
Lower than the big box stores.
Especially them, with much better service, too. And they do it all. Delivery, installation, everything.
National Appliance Warehouse in Wilmington.
Yes, they may not be the closest, but they'll make your wallet the happiest.
Fall into savings on beautiful new kitchen appliances now at National Appliance Warehouse. Save on LG. Get a deluxe stainless steel kitchen suite with French door refrigerator from LG, regularly $43.43 for only $21.99.88 after rebate. That's a budget saving $2,143.12. An incredible package. Preview the savings at nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their easily accessible showroom on 202 in tax-free Wilmington.
Station WPHT AM, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing broad outreach regarding job vacancies at this station. We seek the help of local community organizations organizations in referring qualified applicants to our station. Community organizations that wish to receive our vacancy information should contact Lisa Morton at WPHT-AM by calling 215-234-2400. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit odysseyinc.com/careers for an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children go without enough food to eat. You can help feed the hungry. Donate to the Catholic Charities Appeal. Visit CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org, giving hope to those who need it most. CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3.
Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
From the Sherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here.
It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Friday, September 22nd. It is indeed Kayal and Company, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, always live on the free Odyssey app, and of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. Twitter and Instagram, the radio station at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Dawn Stensland with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producer. We made it. It's Friday. The fall is here. The weather's cooling off. Good morning, everybody. Dawn, how are you?
Good morning.
Oh, no, she faded away.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. As Joe Biden once famously said.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Gregory.
Yeah, buddy.
Much to the dismay of the Delaware Valley, everybody that's watching right now on YouTube, shocked, stunned, and some are appalled.
Uh-oh.
That Greg Stocker has shaved the beard,
It's
folks.
gone! It's gone!
It is gone.
It's gone!
It was like a month.
Yeah.
It was pre-Labor Day.
I'll bring it back.
Everything's cyclical, folks.
Exactly. It just got too long and...
Yeah?
Yeah.
Started to itch a little bit?
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of good stuff to get to this morning. Father Time has surrounded Joe Biden, and we've got the evidence to prove it on full display yesterday. That'll be the theme of the big take. And also, Joe repeats a story verbatim, minutes apart.
Oh, boy.
Which will only further prove the point of the big take.
Yeah, this is not good.
Now, John Cusack absolutely roasts the Democrats, and he's been known to roast Trump in the past, so he rips everybody. Hollywood going off. We'll get to that. An update on our big take from earlier in the week with the two kids, the two punks that killed that retired police officer in Las Vegas. Apparently the moms of the defendants are at odds over their children. So we'll get to that. And, of course, we've got the cut sheet. And remember when John Kennedy roasted that one author for the genderqueer book, and we read you that excerpt? It was very explicit, and that author had nothing really to say. Well, we have an update on that story as well. So we'll get to all of that as we continue. But before we do all of that, let's get the news. Round number one, 6:05, Friday morning, the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning this Friday, September 22nd. We're still in the 50s right now, full forecast, and we'll tell you when the rain, or should I say monsoon, begins. So we've had early this morning a police incident. This is Delco in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, as we know that there was a suspect who fired upon police officers, and that ultimately led to a search for that suspect. So a heavy police presence, especially in the area of Terrence Avenue, right near Northland Boulevard. Upper Darby police say they located that suspect and took that individual into custody. We don't have many more details than that, except that this was an officer being shot at, and I'm not hearing any reports of the officer injured, so thank God the officer is okay. But we know a heavy police presence. We're hearing from a lot of residents, and as well there were warnings for residents, in fact, from police to avoid that area. So we're watching that and looking for some details as to exactly what happened and make sure all the officers involved were okay. We also have another SEPTA vehicle involved in a deadly accident. Now, in this case, the police say that this is a situation in Philadelphia where a car crashed into a SEPTA trolley last night, 8:30 in the evening, the city's Overbrook neighborhood, 59th Street and Lansdowne Avenue. So this gray Dodge Charger just rams right into the Route 10 trolley and bursts into fire. By the way, the vehicle, the gray Dodge Charger, the 20-year-old driver, dead, according to police, was traveling at a high rate of speed, and they're calling it a T-bone style collision as that happened. Those trolleys are, we know that they've been refurbished and they're old, so they're very heavy and huge. So the fact that this vehicle, this Dodge Charger, knocked the trolley off the tracks shows you how fast it was going.
Yeah, I mean, Dodge Chargers are a very sporty car. They go 0 to 60 like that.
So we don't know the circumstances. That this is obviously under investigation, but the car was engulfed in flames, as I say. There were children and parents. This was right around sunset when this happened, a little after sunset. But we know that there were some other, individuals, at least 9 individuals, some of them children taken to CHOP, but it looks like nothing life-threatening, thank God.
Yeah, and I know SEPTA's not at fault for this one, but I saw something yesterday with SEPTA that I just wanted to mention. I was coming out of the building, and I got on Market Street. So I get behind one of the SEPTA buses, and on the back it has the billboard that they're advertising that they are hiring, and they offer competitive pay and training, and they have a lady, like a potential employee, and she's wearing a mask in the picture. I just, wanted to share that with the public. That in 2023, SEPTA's hiring, and they decided to put somebody up there with an advertisement of a person wearing a mask.
Well, maybe it was the only one they could find. It was an old picture from 2.5 years ago.
I just love these companies that just want to promote COVID and masks. Like, okay, you're trying to get people to join your company to work for. I got it.
Oh, my goodness.
Take the mask off, SEPTA. Come on.
Hey, today, September 22nd, you know what today is, Nick Kayal?
The second day of fall.
No, tomorrow's the first day of fall.
Oh, I thought
officially.
I thought the 21st was every year.
That's
what Bruno said like 2 days ago. He's like, tomorrow's the first day of fall. Did you know that?
You know how Greg says don't get your news from Twitter?
Yeah, am I wrong?
Don't get your news from Tony Bruno.
Exactly. That's another one. I stopped doing that a decade ago. I just had a relapse.
Today, the 22nd, Daniel Outlaw's last day.
Oh, wow!
Final farewell.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna get her a bouquet of flowers.
A bouquet.
Yeah. Don't let the door hit you on the keister on the way out.
So she sent out a. I don't know if there will be a cake. But she sent out a goodbye.
Yeah. She did good in the city. A lot of law and order. Criminals were fearful for their freedom.
Last day on the job.
Yeah. Best of luck at the. Was it the New York Port Authority where she's going?
Yes.
Or New Jersey or wherever.
Yes.
Yeah, have fun.
I'll just headline this one for you as 2024 POTUS candidate and former President Donald J. Trump posts on Truth Social for Republicans to stay strong. We have Republicans going home for the weekend as this budget battle looms on a national level. So I just thought it was interesting that Pete Buttigieg is all over. We couldn't find him to talk about many other issues.
Right.
Mayor Pete sounding off about this one. Thought I'd headline that one for you.
This is all about funding the military. Mm-hmm. This whole thing is about funding the military.
That's correct.
And where money's allocated for Ukraine and this, that, and the other. It's
billions upon billions.
Yeah.
Zelensky coming by yesterday to get his weekly handout.
I'm fine with a little debate on how much we should fund the military.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And this on the day where we hit, what was it, on Tuesday or Wednesday, $33 trillion, the national debt.
Mm-hmm.
So to Greg's point, we all have budgets. We're all fully aware of our tight budgets during this economy.
For managers out there, there's line expenses and your top line expense. Our top line expense for the United States of America is always the military budget. So, if that's your top line expense, maybe let's talk about how we can get that down a little bit. All I'm saying.
Yep. Well, you got to get the warmongers out of Washington.
Let these guys shut Washington down. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
Life will go on.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. A government shutdown's coming.
Right.
And we'll all live our lives normally.
Yes.
Imagine if Stalker just kind of had his own shutdown. You think we would survive without Stalker?
Oh, of course you would.
I don't know.
Of course you would.
I have to think about that for a little bit.
Well, will we survive the weekend rains? So today, enjoy today. 72 degrees, cool and crisp. Fall officially arriving at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. What a change for the weekend, unfortunately. 62 degrees tomorrow, 69 on Sunday. Tomorrow, we're looking at high winds and heavy rain. There's also there in New Jersey, unfortunately, New Jersey and South Jersey and the shore points it's going to be brutal with 40 to 60 mile an hour winds. It's going to be nasty, especially for Jersey and any obviously coastal points such as Delaware beaches and Delaware coastal points. So tomorrow, the roughest day, 62 degrees with high winds, heavy rains. 69 degrees for your Sunday. So we warm up a little bit. And although it will rain on Sunday, it's not the washout that we see for Saturday. And unfortunately, Monday, the rain continues into the morning and mid-morning. It's 65 degrees. So we're into the 60s, but not a beautiful start to the official start of fall for the weekend, unfortunately.
Sounds like a perfect Saturday for Dawn to fire up her little slow cooker at home with some chili and just... We'll all go to Dawn's and watch college football.
Yeah, I'm in.
We have high school football, and they're playing in the Lehigh Valley.
Oh.
And so, last night was parent back to school night.
Uh-huh.
Remember those?
Yes.
It's like, got home at like 9:30.
Yeah.
But,
I believe I'm coming to one of your games in the next week or two, Dawn.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Whoa, will you betting high school games down there?
FanDuel action on that. Whatever the next Saturday home game is for you guys, I'm coming.
Well, the tailgate is a lot of fun.
I've heard. That's why I'm going.
Awesome.
I'm going to tailgate at a high school football game. I haven't done that since 1994.
Folks, when Stalker crushes my social life, just remember next Saturday.
Woo! Well, this is the Friday morning edition of Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:13. Let's wrap up the week with one last big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, the big take this morning. Father Time has the big guy surrounded. It's getting bad for Joe Biden, folks, and nobody can deny it. Not the DNC, not the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, or any other left-wing propaganda outlet. Father Time, as we know, is undefeated. There's a good chance some of us, if not many of us, will actually end up like Joe Biden. We all have an expiration date professionally. We all have a shelf life in this lifetime. And yesterday was another prime example of how it is clear as day that Joe Biden cannot serve another term. Heck, you can argue he can't even finish up his first term. But as we know, the left will drag their politicians to the finish line as long as they're not pronounced clinically dead. Vladimir Zelensky was at the White House yesterday, and Joe's ineptitude for the job requirements of the presidency were on full display. Here's the President of the United States reading verbatim from a note card, a simple introduction as he speaks with Zelensky in front of the press. Watch and listen.
And earlier this week at the UN General Assembly, I made it clear that no nation can be truly secure in the world if, in fact, we don't stand up and defend the freedom of Ukraine from the face of this Russian brutality and aggression.
That is an 18-second clip where Joe goes from high energy for 2 seconds to sounding fatigued and lost in a matter of 16 seconds. We know Joe is winless against the teleprompter. They are now resorting to note cards for basic entry-level communication talking points. But it gets worse. Joe was then sitting down at the table with Blinken and Zelensky and the rest of his assembled stooges, and he pulls a Fetterman. Take a listen and watch.
And together with 29 other partners, and their partners, we're committed to help Ukraine build a force capable of ensuring Ukraine's long-term security.
29 partners. It's almost identical to when John Fetterman was stuck on the number 95. Remember when Fetterman kept repeating 95? But enough of Joe. What do those who voted for him in 2020 think of the big guy less than 3 years later after their decision? Take a listen and watch.
I think he's too old to be president right now. Like, he doesn't know what's going on right now.
I see him diminishing as far as his energy and the public life. I mean, it's like he had to drink a monster drink or something just to stay awake. You know what I mean? Like, he's really just very tired, and the job is arduous. So, I mean, you need someone with a little more energy level. I think that will put him down.
I think he needs to be in front of voters to show that he's not the sort of doddering old man that the Republicans are trying to make him out to be.
He doesn't know what's going on. He's diminishing. And no Monster, Red Bull, Celsius, or 5-Hour Energy or cup of coffee will help Joe Biden. His voters know he's about to be put down, as you just heard there. And Republicans aren't being cruel. They're being correct. He's a doddering old man who should not be reelected. He's completely lost. His policies have largely failed. And no competent, unbiased human can sit there and evaluate the last two presidents and say America has been better and more productive under his watch than Donald Trump's. But feelings aside, purely facts, it's a no contest. But we remember the red wave that was supposed to come in 2022 that didn't happen. So we are also well aware of what it's like to lose to humans who can't function. Look no further than Pennsylvania with the Senate race and John Fetterman. But on top of those sound bites, we have polling data that does not look good for Joe. Nearly half of voters support the House Republicans' recent impeachment investigation into President Biden, according to polling from the Morning Consult released just on Tuesday. 48% of voters surveyed said they support the current impeachment probe into the president surrounding the business dealings of his son, Hunter Biden, and family members. And out of those voters, 36% of Democrats support Biden's impeachment inquiry, compared to 63% of Republicans. And nearly half of independent voters said they support the inquiry, according to the poll. A smaller share, though, of voters supported former President Trump's first impeachment proceedings compared to Biden's. And that is very telling, according to previous Morning Consult polling. 37% of voters said Congress should begin impeachment proceedings towards then-President Trump to remove him from office in 2019. And with the young generation and some Democrats, we're seeing flipping. A young Democrat appears to be bailing on Joe Biden as well. In a recent Fox News column, the headline read, "Young Democrat voter dumping Biden, leaning towards Trump after the Afghanistan debacle. Don't believe he's competent." Republican voter Stacey Fox and Democrat voter Jamil Jackson discussed these issues this past week on Fox and Friends. And Jamil Jackson told Fox and Friends, quote, "I've seen no form of accountability in this administration. I think this is what's going to change my vote from formerly Joe Biden to Donald Trump." That's a 21-year-old on Fox News. Quote, "I have seen the pullout of Afghanistan from Joe Biden. And then I watched him check his watch during the funeral of the servicemen. And I think if we were to go to war, I'm prime age to be drafted. And I don't want him to check his watch while they are burying me. I don't believe that he's a competent commander-in-chief. And then he'd probably blame my death on climate change in the same way he blamed the pullout in Afghanistan on Donald Trump." That's 21-year-old Jamil Jackson. And then Stacey Fox, a Republican, said the following, quote, "Who's going to have enough tenacity to make a decision and stick to it? Joe Biden can't do that. I think Donald Trump put him with a really strong vice president. He will make those decisions. We'll pull our country out of the dumps that we're moving into. And I'm really afraid for it if it doesn't change," end quote. And also, a new Fox News poll released on Thursday, just yesterday, revealed that 61% think Biden does not have the mental soundness needed for the job he holds. And that sentiment has actually risen steadily over the last 3 years, up 5 points from last year, 13 points since 2021, and up 16 points since 2020 in the election season. It's over for Joe, and everybody knows it. But the question is, who steps up? Kamala? No. Gavin? Laying in the weeds? But it's clear as day that the Dems are in dire straits with viable alternatives to their current guy. It's also clear as day that the Republicans are no certainty to cash in on an aging, frail, failing president. But all we can say for sure is that Father Time wins every time. And Joe's a prime example. And that's the big take.
The Big Take.
on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you would like to jump in on the conversation, 855-839-1210. Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. Or, of course, just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons and be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community. We'll get thoughts and reactions to Joe's rough day yesterday, including how he repeats a story verbatim almost minutes apart, as if he didn't realize he just gave that story a few minutes ago. That's coming up next as we continue. Nick, Dawn, and Greg live here on a Friday morning. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house, for the closing, for handing over keys. But because we're realtors, we're here for so much more. Agents who are realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Every business seeks an advantage, whether it's having the best location, hiring top talent, or spotting trends before they happen. And now, the United States Postal Service can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day package shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the firsthand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
First-time homebuyers have a one-stop trusted partner with American Heritage Credit Union. With our first-time homebuyer program, you can earn up to a $500 lender credit. Our realtors can help you shop for your first home, and qualified borrowers can even receive up to $5,000 in first front door grants. To apply with one simple application, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/FTH. All loans subject to credit approval, insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 433838.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com.
Monday night, Philadelphia Eagles at Tampa Bay, 7:15. Right now, Eagles minus 4.5. The over-under is at 46. I will take the over on that, and I will take the Eagles minus 4.5. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. Go to FanDuel.com/Greg and sign up right now. FanDuel.com/Greg, G-R-E-G. You can bet on everything from spreads to player props, over-unders, so much more. I think I fell one leg short last night of the San Francisco 49ers New York Giants game. Player props get me all the time. FanDuel.com/Greg and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL, the official sportsbook partner of 1210 WPHT, 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue does not withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms of sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Friday morning, 6:26, Kayal Company. Welcome back in. Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. 855-839-1210, the phone number. We will continue with Joe Biden in just a moment. Also still ahead this hour, Americans' new dismal views of the nation's politics. And it's not good, but it's interesting. We've never been more down on our political system and our political leaders and figures and candidates and politicians, according to these polls. Yet voter turnout's never been higher. So we'll try to make sense of that. I was able to make sense of Joe Biden's schedule during the break today. I saw his schedule was tweeted out from Joe Concha of Fox News. He's got two obligations today before he probably rides off to Delaware for a rainy weekend at the beach. 10 o'clock this morning, President Biden will receive his presidential daily briefing. And then at 2:45, both Joe and the Veep are going to deliver some remarks on gun safety at 2:45. So then probably by like 3:45, we'll see him jogging out to the chopper. Somebody will start shouting, Joe, what are your thoughts on it? What'd you say? And then he'll trip going up the steps and he'll disappear for the next 72 hours. So Joe's got a busy day, schedule a little bit more filled up than, perhaps John Fetterman's schedule used to look like on a daily basis in Braddock, Pennsylvania. But that's just Joe being Joe. 40% of his presidency has been based off of vacation. It's a good life if you can get it. I don't get 40% of vacation for a calendar year. I mean, Dawn doesn't even get like a day off. Dawn works 6. Dawn, if Joe had to do your schedule, I don't know that he would get through one work week.
Anyway.
Like if Joe was required to be here from 5:45 until well after noon, I think he might tap out. He really would. So wanted to get into that because it was just a day yesterday, which, you saw around, I want to say 9 o'clock yesterday morning. Zelensky shows up at the White House and his little entourage, and he gets there with Joe, and I'm sure there was a bag exchanged with probably $3 billion more just add to the pile. But I was getting ready to play golf yesterday, Dawn, and I'm over on the putting green, and I'm warming up waiting for Bill from the other morning show down the hall to get there, who I played with. And there was a couple of people that were talking politics on the putting green, and they were just talking about Biden and Trump. Now, they had no idea who I was, and I didn't interject, but I'm just putting, and I'm just kind of keeping an ear out. I'm like, And it was mostly negative on Joe Biden. Now, I don't know if those were Democrats that were down on Joe or Trump supporters down on Joe, but this is getting to the point now where you just sense it, you feel it, everybody's talking about it. It's you can no longer kind of just stuff it under your mattress or hide it in the closet. It's out there on full display now. And I'm wondering in the next couple of weeks, once we get to, the point where primaries are fully kicked in, debates, and Joe's made their decision, the whole bit, I'm just wondering if we're going to see the Democratic, the whole party just kind of maybe try to hide Joe a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy campaigned from his basement in 2020, so they have no shame in kind of keeping him in mothballs, so to speak.
Well, and I wonder, because we always talk about how the Democrats always do a good job of planning way ahead. So I wonder if the fact that, Greg Stocker on, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, the cut sheet showing the talking point of all of the, especially Sunday morning shows and Georgie Stephanopoulos, and continually asking GOP, the candidates running for POTUS 24, and the talking point is, well, would you vote for an accused felon or a convicted felon. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
And then you wonder, okay, is this now they've laid the groundwork to say, well, Joe Biden's not going to debate an accused felon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what is there? Because they can't do the basement.
No.
So what will they do?
Mm-hmm. And then to your point, when any of these mainstream shows or Sunday shows get a Republican on, there's three things they ask about: the 2020 election, January 6th, and Joe's age. They don't ask the Republican about, well, how would you fix the economy, or how would you fix crime, or the border, or what's your plan to get out of spending all this money on Ukraine and funding this proxy war and everything else. To your point, it's those, and it's certainly on Joe. And then, well, Joe doesn't have to debate, and we can get into the whole strategy versus what you're afraid of doing, and it's the same thing where people try to ridicule and chastise Trump. Like, well, what's Trump so afraid of? It's like, not afraid of anything. He's got a 60-point lead. There's just nothing to gain from it. So I thought that was interesting yesterday. Now, I did not see any video or audio clips of this, but I just have the story itself. And this also highlights where Joe is right now. So yesterday, Joe Biden apparently repeated the same story twice, almost word for word within minutes.
Yeah, there was no. I looked for video of this.
So
too.
did I.
I didn't see anything.
Okay.
So it was just the New York Post that was reporting it.
That's correct. So apparently Biden lit up social media after a pool report from Wednesday. So this was in front of a cavalcade of individuals. And this actually happened on Wednesday evening, where he revealed that he told the same story at a fundraiser just minutes apart, nearly, quote, word for word. Quote, after briefly touting his economic record, POTUS reflect on his decision to seek the presidency. The pool report from Politico's Jonathan Lemire, who was traveling with the president on Wednesday, stated, quote, he told the story about the events of Charlottesville in 2017 as the reason for his campaign. A few minutes later, he told the same story again, nearly word for word. Social media users on Twitter reacted to the pool report and promoted it as evidence that the 80-year-old president's age has become a factor, a charge he has faced from both sides of the aisle since taking office. He goes on to say in this article here, quote, but we aren't supposed to care about his age and mental state, so says National Review contributor Pradheep Shankar on Twitter. Okie dokie, he says. The RNC, with a rapid response from their director, Jake Schneider, saying this is completely fine. Hashtag sarcasm. Quote, it's a lie. He memorized it in 2019 and has repeated it since. Veins bulging, etc., said Breitbart senior editor Joel Pollack on Twitter. Quote, this is normal, completely normal. Republican strategist and former Ted Cruz spokesperson Steve Guest posted on X. So we know with Joe, we have seen this pattern before, whether it's, when he claimed that he grew up in a Jewish synagogue, or he was a member of the black church, or he was big in the Puerto Rican community in Delaware, or he did this in Scranton, or he played football here, or he taught a class at Penn, which we know he never did, and he got $1 million for being a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. It's almost like, if you've ever watched a TV show and you see that one episode that's always a rerun. I've mentioned, like, I got into the Big Bang Theory the last year or two, and I swear to God, the Stan Lee episode is on TBS at least once a week. I don't know if they've got proof and data that says that's a wildly popular episode, but it's like you memorized it and you just hear it over and over and over, and it's on loop. And that's what Joe is right now. And that's really what Joe has always been. He's just giving you the same lies and fabrications repeatedly, except now he's telling stories, not realizing he told it, and then going back to the same thing. That would be like me coming out of the Big Take at 6:25, and I start reading the Big Take again. And Greg's like, you just did that. Would you pay off the tees?
Yeah, I mean, this is it's stuff like this that's when we realized we had to put Pop-Pop into the home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
When he told you the same story 3 times in one conversation.
Yep.
So
we've all been there. A lot of us are going to get to that point.
Oh yeah,
but none of us
course.
are running the nation, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, when you aired in the big take, when you aired earlier, and the people were reacting, and the one woman said something like, we'll have to put him down.
Put him down. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
It's like he's a dog.
I know.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh.
Yeah. You get to that point where that your Labrador Retriever's 12.
No.
They don't go up the steps anymore. They start wetting the floor. There's going to come a day where you got to take the puppy to the vet and say your goodbyes. We're all going to have to do that. But Joe, I mean, the scary part with Joe is that he's still tied, even though his lead is evaporated. I mean, let's just call it right now basically a coin flip based on polling. I mean, how crazy is it that it's likely a 50-50 chance that he could get reelected with all the evidence that says he should not be greeting people at Walmart? That's the dire straits that we're in here. And it's also, I think, equally embarrassing that Republicans can't beat people like this, whether it's Fetterman or Biden.
And that's the bigger statement, isn't it?
Yes. And because I would argue, if you can't beat Joe Biden, and let's just say, like, for the sake of this conversation, it doesn't get any worse than Joe Biden, right? It doesn't get any worse than John Fetterman. That's about as bad as you can be at your job. If you can't beat the worst person, what makes you think you can beat anybody that's a granule better? It's like, well, if you can't beat the last place team in your division, you're not going to beat the fourth place team, in theory, right? It's like, this is the moment where it's like, you better figure it out. Dawn, you say it all the time. GOP, get it together, get your messaging right, do what you got to do, because, if you go through this again and you get, Biden in the White House for another 4 years, I'd hate to see where we are by 2028. I know a lot of people love to play the America will be unrecognizable card.
Yeah.
I think, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's bad times and it's dire straits, and you just can't afford to lose it. So that was pretty interesting for Biden yesterday, and we'll get to some more of that later on. 855-839-1210. But here's an interesting story that I see from Pew Research. The headline reads, Americans' dismal views of the nation's politics. And it's interesting because the numbers are so low in many different categories, yet we see record number voting, whether it's presidential elections or midterms. So Americans have long been critical of politicians and skeptical of the federal government. But today, Americans' views of politics and elected officials are unrelentingly negative, with little hope of improvement on the horizon, says PewResearch.org. A comprehensive new Pew Research Center study of the state of the nation's politics finds no single focal point for the public's dissatisfaction. Notably, Americans' unhappiness with politics comes at a time of historically high levels of voter turnout in national elections. The elections of 2018, 2020, and 2022 were three of the highest turnout U.S. elections of their respective types in decades. But that being said, here are some of the numbers that say Americans are just disgusted and defeated with the system and the people that we are presented. Just 4% of U.S. adults say the political system is working extremely or very well. 4%. I haven't seen a poll that low since Chris Christie in a Republican primary. 4% of U.S. adults say, yep, it's pretty good. It works smoothly. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Positive views of many governmental and political institutions are also at historic lows. Geez, I wonder why. The CDC, the FBI, the IRS, DOJ, just 16% of the public say that they trust the federal government always or most of the time. And a growing share of the public dislikes both political parties, where nearly 3 out of 10, 28.5%, express unfavorable views of both parties, which is the highest share in 3 decades of polling. So when we have some of these kind of random stories about would a third party work, how would they steal some votes, who would be the face of a third party, where does the funding come from? If you go based on this, Pew Research study, now more than ever, Americans are just done with both sides, at least according to the polling. But again, it's like you see the elections and something's still working because people are showing up.
Yeah, we're ripe for a third party.
You think we'll see one in our lifetime?
Well, I mean, there are. You think of the Green Party and other things. Technically, there are,
but truly breaking through and
no, I don't think I'll. No, the political system is just too hard to penetrate.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that in the past, when there was the Ross Perot's and the Ralph Naders and the people like that, it usually came at a time when there was two historically low, unpopular presidential candidates.
Mm-hmm.
You think about Bill Clinton and George H.W. Bush at that time, and George W. Bush, and Al Gore.
Yep, 2000.
So this smells of that all over again.
Mm-hmm.
How about Eric Clapton holding a huge multi-million-dollar fundraiser
For who, Joe?
for RFK Jr.?
Whoa.
I love Eric. I'm a huge fan of
Look,
Eric Clapton.
RFK's got his supporters, though.
Right?
To
Yeah,
your
that's
point.
true.
He does.
It's too late for him to be any sort of third party, though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were talking about his polling, and he was around 20%, and he can't even get a sniff of anything. And he's still irate that he's not granted Secret Service protection, as every presidential candidate is offered. I mean, the Democrats are. I mean, at the end of the day, RFK is a Democrat, and their own party's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, you're crazy. You don't get the Secret Service, buddy. Keep doing bench presses on your Instagram videos. You'll be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, look, during the primaries, he'll take some votes away from Biden.
Yep.
I mean, nothing is going to be significant enough that it's going to affect him,
Mhm.
but he will take some votes away from Biden. That itself is a bad look for Biden.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
it is.
you're going to have Trump, who's going to run away with the primary against 9 other people, or however
Mhm.
many he's up against.
Yep.
And there's essentially one person Joe Biden's up against, and I think that he could chip away at a lot of Joe Biden supporters.
Very true.
Again, not enough to matter, but still.
Yeah, I agree.
No label party, though. Will Joe Manchin run? Because Joe Manchin's getting, he's going to get beat by a Republican anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if he would run, and who would his running mate be? And
Yeah.
we talked. I am a fan of Tulsi Gabbard.
Yep.
I mean, she's
Well, there's talk that it's going to be a Trump Tulsi ticket.
Yeah.
In 2020.
Very interesting.
So is it the battle over Tulsi?
Oh boy.
Well, there was
a
there was a story on the AP last night that said a third party signed up 15,000 voters in Arizona.
Whoa.
Democrats
Yeah.
worry that's enough for a Biden spoiler, and that's the no parties ticket.
The no label?
Yep.
No, yeah,
No labels?
No labels, whatever.
I knew
they're
you
called.
meant.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're making we're getting down to the wire, though. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how much leeway they have right now.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting to see. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like if there's ever a time for a third party, right now is the time, I would guess.
All right, 855-839-1210. So Eric Clapton is supporting RFK Jr., and one man by the name of John Cusack, you might have heard of him, big-time actor from Hollywood, absolutely destroys the Democratic elites of society. We'll get to that story as we continue. Hour number 1 continues. Kayal and Company next on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What does a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? Here's your chance to find out. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT wants to send you on a magical 7-day, 6-night trip for 4 to the Walt Disney World Resort, including airfare, 7-day park hopper tickets, a stay at the Walt Disney World Resort, and much more. Experience it all. The entire amazing collection of thrills. Perfect for families and friends to enjoy together. For your chance to win this national contest, listen to Kayal and Company weekday mornings at 9:50 for the daily keyword. Then enter it 1210WPHT.com/contests to win. Limit 1 entry per day per person.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
It's Friday night. That means date night in the Spring Dance Hot Tub. Yeah, I love nights like this. And before the rain sets in for the weekend, especially cool, crisp nights, just heat up that Spring Dance Hot Tub on the privacy of our own back deck. Oh, it feels so good. You got to get one. And if you already have an old hot tub, I want to tell you right now this only happens once a year, your chance to trade up to that new luxury hot tub from my friends at Spring Dance Hot Tubs. This is their annual trade-in event. It's happening right now just until the end of this month, which means you save big time, up to $3,000 off a brand new beautiful hot tub. And they're going to take away for you your old, leaky, broken hot tub and turn it into your new place to relax, entertain, and have some me time. Or for me, Friday nights, it's us time. It's great for your relationship, great for mind, body, soul in these crazy times, and all in the privacy of your own backyard, your back patio, your back deck. You got to do it. Just check out my friends at springdancehottubs.com, and you can visit any Spring Dance Hot Tubs location across the region, across the Philadelphia suburbs, as well as South Jersey, to find that new hot tub or swim spa of your dreams today, or to trade your old one in. They're going to haul it away. Just find them at springdancehottubs.com, springdancehottubs.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Calling on Harleysville to follow 1210 WPHT in the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
648, Kayal Company, as we roll on live Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, Greg, and Anthony here on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Dawn will have some news to kick off hour number 2. Cut sheet's going to be loaded today. Always a good one on a Friday. That's coming up at 7:45. Of course, your chance again to scoop up another cool prize. Morning mystery movie clip at 9:20. And just about 3 hours from now, 9:50 this morning, one more opportunity for this week and all September long. We will give you the keyword. You take that to 1210WPHT.com and enter that keyword for a chance at a free trip to Walt Disney World. And also buy some merch while you're there. A lot of people getting their T-shirts, their mugs.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I really might get one of those Krasnerland shirts.
They're awesome, aren't
With
they?
the yellow tape, like the
Yeah.
crime scene across the black shirt.
Yep.
Just a good look.
Speaking of Krasnerland, let me just give a little promotion for Dom.
Sure.
Dom will be in Wildwood today at Mulligan's Shore Bar down there in Wildwood with special guest, Frazier himself, Kelsey Grammer.
No.
So, yeah.
How'd he book that?
I mean, he's the Dom's people who knows people.
Okay. So it wasn't Dan.
Kelsey Grammer has he has a new beer out, so he's gonna be slinging some brews down there.
Okay.
Faith American Brewery or
All
something
right.
brewing.
Yeah.
So he'll be down there live and in person, noon to 3, with Dom today. Mulligan's Shore Bar in Wildwood. So go down there and see Dom and say hello to all our friends, Johnny Z and all those guys, Pamela, all those people down there at Mulligan's. We love them.
Okay, very cool.
It's become the official home for 1210 WPHT. It's like our clubhouse.
It's our
Good times.
Yeah.
Speaking of beer, we'll have a Dylan Mulvaney update. You might actually be seeing Dylan in this year's upcoming Super Bowl. So
What?
Yeah. Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney, and also speaking of beers, Republicans, conservatives with a beer that they might want to champion and rally behind and get behind. We'll give you those details. We've got a couple of beer stories coming up in the final hour of the show. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. John Cusack, very good, well-accomplished celebrity, entertainer, actor in Hollywood. I liked him a lot in the movie Runaway Jury with Gene Hackman and Anthony Hopkins, the movie about gun control and, jury pools and things like that. But he went by the name of Nick Easter in that movie, by the way. He used to run.
Well, that's what it is. It's Nick.
Nick Easter.
Stand by me.
He worked in a mall and ran a video game store. And he was obviously a big factor in that movie with trying to taint the jury pool with Gene Hackman. But John Cusack now, apparently with some strong words for the Democratic Party elite, when he branded them as being full of S, and you can fill in the blanks, and then blasted them on social media for allegedly selling out the working class for, quote, decades. He says the following, and he also comes from a standpoint of where he's been critical of Trump, so it's not a real partisan thing per se, which maybe he's much like these polling numbers we gave you. He's disgusted by both sides, but he says, quote, "They have played a major part in creating the precise conditions for fascism to flourish. Obama corporatist Democrats are to the right of Richard Nixon on domestic policy. Don't believe me? Look it up. And Dems have sold out the working class for decades, and this kind of bought and paid for betrayal on principles, fairness, historical precedent, any sense of moral or intellectual honesty, the kind of brutal, selfish, horrific actions one only does because they can get away with it," he wrote on Twitter on Monday. And I just want to kind of hone in on the sense of moral or intellectual honesty for a moment. And I was just thinking about that when I was reading those quotes last night. You talk about sense of morals. And like right now, we've talked a lot about all the gender identification and the sexualization of children and all the school stuff where you see these stories where it's drag time, reading time. We had the drag nun story in Los Angeles that was very offensive to Catholics and things like that. And then you get to the intellectual honesty. And that's one of the things I want to hone in on here is I think Democrats always vote with their feelings. They get caught up in their emotions. And my sister sent me a text yesterday. She lives up in the Orfield-Macungie area in the Parkland School District. And there was some guy that had a big flag, a Trump 2024 flag out like on his barn. So it was out in the countryside. And it says Trump 2024, F your feelings. And I love that because that's something that I always kind of go by. I look at facts over feelings.
But what about the children, guys? I mean, we're all about the children and them seeing F words
That's
and
true.
sex.
That's true. And honestly, it shouldn't,
Oh, it actually says, it spells out the F word?
Yeah, I'm just cleaning it up for the sake of radio.
Okay, wow.
But the point being...
No, I'm just saying, if we're all about the children and what they see and what they don't see.
I agree.
You're driving by with mom and you say, "Mommy, what's that word?"
Yeah.
It's fudge.
I don't care, by the way. I'm not like, on my moral high ground, but I'm just saying if we care so much about what the children are seeing.
No, I totally got you.
And the thing about it is, it would be nice if somebody just said, "You know what? Can I just get a picture of a cow or something and put it over the just let the F show or something, just bleep.
Yeah. Feelings.
Bleep
feelings be damned.
Put a big asterisk. You get your point across.
Yeah.
I wonder, it's a very, you see those signs, usually it says, "Let's go, Brandon."
Mm-hmm. Right. Which is the opposite of F Joe Biden, which is obviously a big thing and a big rallying cry. Easter. Cusack goes on to say, "All of your Yale and Harvard buddies will tell you how great and smart you all are. And then they're all in bed with the same big money, big power players. And we run the world, right? This kind of staggering amoral BS is one of the main reasons Trump's policies work on people. The Democrats are full of S-bleep-I-T." So I just love that because I look at facts over feelings. I look at numbers over narratives. And I try to just arrive at the conclusion of what is working. And when you cut through all the noise with both politicians, with Trump and Biden, you cut through both investigations, both impeachments, their kids, their family, and all the stuff of the last 4 years, and you just say, and I said this in the Big Take this morning, put it on paper. what policies were better, and then give me what was gas prices, what was the economy, what was inflation, what was the unemployment, what was the border crossing numbers. You look at those numbers, and if it was like a boxing match and they put up the tail of the tape, height, weight, reach, record, boxer A on the left, boxer B on the right. If you looked at all the numbers on the right and said, boy, I don't know who boxer B is, but he's got boxer A covered. Well, boxer B is Trump, and he's got Biden covered in darn near every category. Biden would be boxer A. So I love, it's weird is no matter what side these people say it, and I know some people get turned off by it, but I like actually hearing the political views of people not in the world of politics. The only place it really bothers me is in the world of sports, and it bothers me there because only one side is allowed to speak up.
Yeah, and also, like, Say Anything for my husband and I. We love that movie with John Q. There's so many movies. I just love him as an actor and his sister Joan, but just stop. Just don't, but he's upset because he's one of the Democrats. He's known as being very liberal, and he's one of those Democrats, like Tulsi Gabbard, who you mentioned earlier, who feels that the Democrat Party has left them.
Yeah.
And saying, what are you doing?
Right.
And feeling betrayed.
It's a totally different party than what it used to be. We talked about it yesterday, and I think you brought up something to the effect of sports people that joined, news and politics. Yeah. And we mentioned Tyrus on Fox News, used to be a wrestler. Will Cain used to work at ESPN, and Clay Travis used to be a sports guy. And like Clay always said, like he made no bones about it. He used to be a Democrat. He voted for Obama. Then he voted for Gary, what's his name?
Gary Johnson.
Gary Johnson in 2016. The first time he ever voted Republican was for Trump in 2020. And he's like, that party that you see today, that was not the way it was in 2008 or 2004 or 2000 or 96 or 92. And it's just this ridiculous slide, not even a slide, it's like a shove all the way off the deep end to the left. So it's very interesting. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. Hour 2 is on the way. Dawn will have some news. And we also have 2 updates on the story from Las Vegas of those 2 punks that are 17 and 16 years old, respectively, that basically executed a retired Las Vegas chief police and shared it on social media. It was the crux of a big take on Tuesday. We've got comments from the mothers and also apparently a quote from one of the suspects who says, I'll be out in 30 days.
Of course.
30 days.
Of course. See, this is exactly what we're talking about.
Yep. Save it. We're going to get to the other side. This is unbelievable. Hour 2, Kayal Company is back after this.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Today is the big day. Happy to say we're going back down the shore to Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood. Our special guest live and in person will be Fraser himself, Kelsey Grammer. We'll talk about cheers and beers, of course, about the Jersey Shore, and about how he's joining the fight against the offshore wind turbines. A one-of-a-kind day. Today, noon until 3, Mulligan Shore Bar on Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Hatfield Pork brings flavor to the table the whole family will enjoy and keep you moving through the day. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, it's food you can feel good about serving. Explore endless meal possibilities with Hatfield's variety of marinated pork, ground sausage, ham, and bacon. Find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and to find a retailer near you.
Hey, Philly. Looking to save big on your next new Infiniti? Then look no further than the Bush Auto Group. Right now, all 2023 Infiniti models come with 3 years of scheduled maintenance. And that's not all. Every vehicle purchase at the Bush Auto Group comes with over $3,000 in bonus value to drive down the cost of vehicle ownership. Don't wait. Swing by one of our 2 Bush Infiniti locations in Ardmore and Westchester today and drive off with a grin as wide as the Schuylkill Expressway. Visit bushautogroup.com to learn more. And remember, Philly rides with us.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Ignatius Church in Yardley with Dennis Horan and Brendan Donegan, Saturday, November 4th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Miller Lite has high hopes for the Phillies this season, so catch every game at McSorley's Ale House in Ardmore, featuring a season-long $14 Miller Lite bucket special. McSorley's offers an extensive pub menu, including their famous wings and a variety of beers and cocktails. Watch the game from 16 surrounding TVs and have lots of fun in their arcade and gaming area. So enjoy every Phil's game at McSorley's Ale House in Ardmore. McSorley's Ale House, a proud partner of WIP's High Hopes Pod with James Seltzer and Jack Fritz. It's Miller time, Phillies fans. Celebrate responsibly.
Liberty Mutual presents How to Be the Life of the Party.
Okay, first turn the music off. Then ask for everyone's attention. Now, tell them that you customized your home insurance with Liberty Mutual and saved hundreds. Boom! Now everyone knows you're not just a pretty face. You have some brains inside that face that know how to save hundreds on home insurance. Woo!
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Based on recent survey of new customers who switched and saved. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Welcome to Bob's.
Is this Blake dining set real wood?
Yes, in 3 classic finishes.
And?
It comes with 6 chairs or 4 and storage bench.
And?
You can get it in dining or counter heights.
And?
It's rated 5 stars.
And?
It's $5.99 no matter what you choose.
And?
We can have it in your home by Sunday dinner.
Oh my Bob.
When you don't have to compromise on style, quality, or price, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Inflation is nothing more than a legal form of theft. Because with every new round of money printing, the value of your 401k or IRA is decreased through the dilution of the money supply. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and while you still can, I highly recommend you consider physical gold for your retirement account. Why? Because gold provides real wealth preservation that can withstand anything. Even better, with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group, you pay no penalties or taxes when you transfer your current retirement funds. To learn more, text the word safeguard to 989898. And my friends from Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust, so text SAFEGUARD to 989898 to request your free info kit on gold IRAs right now.
We know you're excited because Eagles football is back. With the free Odyssey app, you can jump back and listen to the moments that matter, even if you missed it live. Hear Marks and Reese break down the offense, or listen to Nick Sirianni's interview with the 94 WIP Morning Show.
Yeah, I've been in a game where we scored a touchdown, and I'm fist pumping with the fans. I don't think I've done that since I played college football.
Stay close to the Eagles, wherever you are this season. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
You're out of breath. Have a constant dry cough that won't go away. It could be interstitial lung disease. ILD is rare, but it's serious. It can be the fight of your life. And you can't face the fight of your life if you don't know you're in it. Ask your doctor. Find a pulmonologist. Get answers. There's hope. There's help, but don't wait. Go to lungsandU.com/fight ILD.
This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free speech lives here.
It's been a mystery. We still try to see why something good can hurt so bad.
Kayal and Company, 7:04. Hopefully all of you off to a great start to your Friday. Or maybe you've already mailed it in and it's a 3-day weekend. Either way, good to have you in. Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube, as many of you like to do. Don't forget, 9:50 this morning, keyword for Disney. Cut sheets coming up at 7:45. Still ahead this hour, we have both the moms in Vegas with the 64-year-old retired police chief who was essentially executed on live social media feeds, and they have spoken out about their children and also one of the two suspects, so to speak, with an interesting quote that we will go off on in just a little bit. But before we get to all of that, let's get to the news. Round number 2 on Friday morning. It's 7:05, and it's time for the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning this Friday morning, September 22nd, sponsored by Holland Floor Covering. Well, we're just coming out of the 50s this morning. We'll give you the Friday forecast and let you know when the heavy rain begins. That as we begin the day this morning, overnight, well, early morning hours, a huge, heavy police presence as officers in Delaware County, Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, converging, especially in the area of Terrence Avenue near North Lynn Boulevard, as they were searching for a suspect who fired upon officers. So they do confirm early this morning that they have that individual, that suspect, in custody. And so we're waiting for details on that one. We also have the investigation into a deadly SEPTA-involved accident, and this one happened 59th Street, Lansdowne Avenue. We don't know the details as to why that gray Dodge Charger at high speeds T-boned a SEPTA trolley. This happened last night, about 8:30, 8-ish in the evening. And on the trolley, at least 20 people, 9 taken to area hospitals. Looks like their injuries are not life threatening. However, the driver, 20-year-old young man, we don't have a name or other confirmation, but the 20-year-old driver of that vehicle that was engulfed in flames as it T-boned the trolley, that driver killed. So that's that deadly accident under investigation. As we've been saying, Danielle Outlaw, police commissioner, wasn't here for long, but during the pandemic, says her goodbyes. That has gone viral as many people are commenting on her last day on the job. Bye-bye, Danielle Outlaw.
I'm sure.
Rough tenure.
Yeah, I'm sure Dom will have some thoughts on her coming up at noon from Wildwood. But, it's just another one of these, DEI hires that, is instilled or installed into a big position for the sake of checking off boxes. And, of course, this day and age that we live in of, no prosecutions, the police never. That's the worst part of all of this is, and I've said this before about, it's such an underappreciated job in policing. But imagine trying to work in an industry or for a company where your boss doesn't have your back. Mm-hmm. Like that's got to be the worst feeling. And I've had that feeling at times in radio in the past, but at a level where you're risking your life every day. And, if you don't do everything by the book, and, oh, by the way, even if you do, you're not really exonerated until you go through the process. And knowing that the chief or the boss will post tweets in defense of the suspect over the officer. That's got to be a terrible feeling for these people.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
National headlines, House Republican holdouts blocking that military spending bill. This is for a second time this week. And, of course, risking an upcoming, showdown and government shutdown. We're talking about that this morning. Donald J. Trump, former president and current candidate for the job against Joe Biden, sounding off on Truth Social, but they went home the R's went home for the weekend. And so maybe that's not a good sign. That's a headline. Also a headline as the balance of power in the United States Senate may be decided by Pennsylvania voters as Dave McCormick announces officially, it's the worst kept secret, but now makes it official yesterday that he is making his bid for the job in battleground Pennsylvania. McCormick, known well here, former Wall Street CEO, West Point grad, Gulf War combat veteran and captain, and of course worked within the George W. Bush administration as a Treasury Department official. launching his second straight campaign for United States Senate, thinking that Senator Bob Casey Jr. is weak on the job.
Yep. Axios actually had a really good analysis of looking ahead to the possibility of a split congressional decision in 24, where the Senate is tilting red, but the House is tilting blue for 2024. So we might have one of these, flip-flops, so to speak, which would be very interesting to your point.
Let's hope not.
Right. It'd be nice to take 2 out of 3, and then of course all 3 if you can get Trump back in the White House. But yeah, it's like if you're the House, you get you're the GOP, you get it for one little stretch, and then boom, you give it right back. That would be a real tough one.
Yeah, the economy, Bidenomics. Speaking of Bidenomics, the Biden administration unveiling some new proposals to remove medical bills from credit reports. And so this is making headlines as White House officials say they're pursuing the effort to lessen Americans' medical debt burden, and companies would not allow to put that on your actual credit report. So that's causing quite a stir, I should say. Locally, PennDOT and city officials have said now that they're planning to build 4 traffic calming devices at either end of a very dangerous stretch of Lincoln Drive. And so this is in Philadelphia, other short-term measures. This was a kind of a Zoom briefing for the neighborhood. Mount Airy, especially in West Mount Airy, they have pushed for something to be done for years, because if you look at 80% of all the car crashes in Philadelphia, they happen on Lincoln Drive. 80%, and it represents only 12% of roads.
So traffic calming devices?
Yeah, a lot of people were hoping that you'd have the Roosevelt Boulevard style speed cameras.
Okay.
They're not going to have that. They can't. But the deal is that there's this little 1.5 mile stretch that the state, that PennDOT, officially, technically can control. So they're going to put those, those things that if they make your car sound like it's like it has it's a textured
like a
roadway.
like a rumble strip.
Yeah, like a rumble strip. They're going to do that sort of thing.
Okay.
So they're doing all different ideas like that.
I feel like if those are basically kind of that jolt you to like alert you. Like if you're a trucker on a highway and you've been driving for 15 straight hours and you're starting to doze off and you hit those and you're like, whoa, all right, got to wake up. Like that's what I kind of think and envision.
Yeah, so things like rumble strips, to your point, but neighbors disappointed that they're not going to do the speed cameras. And one thing they do deal with, we talk about the drag racing all the time. The neighbors say there are these 2-3 o'clock in the morning drag races on some of the curviest spots. It's crazy.
I know. I thought that was a thing like 20 years ago. I feel like that's like once again, everything's cyclical and it comes back.
Yeah, well said. Well, we are sponsored this morning in Kayal, and I should say our Phils, no big surprise, but 6-5. We won against the Mets last night. Tonight, Friday, it's going to be a beautiful Friday night, 7:05.
Yeah.
For our Philadelphia Phillies.
Good luck for Saturday and Sunday getting those games in, though.
I know, especially Saturday. We will see. But we're sponsored by Holland Floor Covering, the region's premier flooring dealer. Family operated for more than 50 years, providing exceptional service, professional installation. Just visit their 2 showrooms, Wayne or Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more, hollandfloor.com. Thank you, Holland Floor, for sponsoring our Kayal & Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 7:13 Friday morning. So earlier this week, we had a big take talking about bringing back protection for police officers. And we talked about it locally, where the one officer was hit on the side of a road while assisting a stranded motorist, so to speak. And then nationally in Las Vegas, we had a 64-year-old retired police officer, Andreas Probst, who was riding his bike on a neighborhood street and going away from the car that ultimately hit him and killed him. And you had 2 kids in this car that went live on their social media, filmed it, and you could see them basically identifying the cop. And in the video, you really can't even see the cop for about 5-10 seconds until they start flooring it. And then the cop comes into picture, and these 2 kids in a stolen car smash right into the officer's back bike tire, which has got to be a terrifying event. It's bad enough if you're ever hit by a car and you see it coming on a bike, but to have it come from behind has got to be like unbelievably frightening. And this killed this officer who was retired at 6:04 on a Sunday morning, taking his bike ride. Married for 35 years. Wife now becomes a widow. But Jesus Ayala, 17, and JZAMIR Keys, 16, were both arrested when they recorded this. And now the mothers are speaking out about this, one of which has claimed that her son's side of the story will be told. The first mother, Ayala, Jesus Ayala, 17, his mom told KLAS, I don't know why he did this. I don't know if God can forgive this. And Ayala can be heard in the horrific video that we played for you, asking Keys, who's in the passenger seat, filming this on social media, if he was ready before the two began laughing, as the latter says, yeah, hit his ASS. They end up striking the guy and killing him. And now you also have the mother of Keys saying, my son's side of the story will be told. The truth, not the inaccuracies the media will try to portray. Now, if you subscribe and adhere to the rule of law, you know, there's the notion innocent until proven guilty, due process, let the system play out. You have your day, you have your moment to defend yourself, you're entitled counsel, all of that. But if you watch that video, and like I get it, it's his mom, although it's kind of a stark difference between the first mom who says, I don't know why he did it, I don't know if that God will ever forgive my son. Then the other mom's like, the media is twisting this, and you're sitting there and we played the clip for you. You saw it on YouTube, you probably have seen it and watched it on social media. There's very little, I know innocent until proven guilty, but that video right there, there's not really anything up for debate, and there's nothing in dispute. That was a premeditated, aggravated murder with the intention of killing this guy.
Yeah.
And they go, so I don't know where that mom's coming from, but this is the one that really steams me up. And this is where we can have an unbelievable conversation, I think, because like I said in the big take, until we reestablish law and order, this is going to continue to happen because these people, young individuals, adults, career criminals, they know the system is in their favor now more than ever. And cops don't get the benefit of the doubt. And if you check off boxes in the identity politics world we live in the defund the police era that we live in, you're going to get a slap on the wrist so many times. And this Vegas teen, apparently, once he was arrested, told cops, I'll be out in 30 days. Now, he doesn't really understand the law too well, but he's got the belief of, this is like spray painting a garage in somebody's alleyway.
Except that they're charging them as adults.
Correct.
And that's, to your point, it's the rude awakening.
Yes.
And they need to talk about this more,
Mm-hmm.
that if you do something, and this should be all plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
If you do something like this, no more juvie,
Yep.
Forgiveness. You're charged as an adult. But
Yeah.
we need to do this more. We see it here in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do this more so that message is what do we talk about all the time? The culture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a culture of crime and allowing the crime and violence.
That's correct. Now, look, 13, 14, maybe not as an adult, but to me, if you're 16 or 17 and you are competent and you don't have a birth defect or you're not mildly whatever, like if this is a competent kid that knows right from wrong at 16 that does this, you're gone.
I think it also depends on the crime, too.
Well, sure.
When you say 13 or 14, I mean, there's some 13 or 14-year-olds that commit some heinous crimes.
Oh, yeah.
That should never see the light of day again.
Fair point.
So...
Yeah, 13-year-old kills his parents or something like that. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I just, the fact that this kid, this person said that just shows you what people, criminals, think of our justice system.
That was Jesus Ayala. He's the teen who allegedly mowed down a retired police chief in the fatal hit and run when he told Las Vegas police he would be back on the streets in under a month, according to a report. Ayala is accused of driving a stolen Hyundai Elantra on August the 14th with Jameer Keys, 16, and deliberately crashing and killing Andreas Andy Probst, 64, who had been riding his bike. Ayala, who just turned 18, so he was 17 at the time. Right now, at this very moment, he's 18 years old. He was arrested hours after Probst was killed and told the police while in custody he wouldn't be locked up for long. Quote, you think this juvenile bleep is going to do some bleep? I'll be out in 30 days, I'll bet you. Iola told the cops. Where if I'm the cop there and I'm going to be out in 30 days, take that to the bank, that's when I kind of give him a little extra shove into that back of that cop cruiser. Oh, yeah? You're going to be out in 30 days? Sit down. That's where I think when I said earlier in the week in the Big Take that we are looking at a generation, which is very weird because I feel like, and Valdez is off today, so he's not here to defend Gen Z as the Gen Z resident of the show. You have some Gen Zers that are so socially awkward, disconnected, aloof. They don't really care about anything. I don't think anything motivates them. They never get angry. They don't commit a crime, but they don't even seem like they're enjoying. They're just kind of going through the motions and scrolling and swiping, and they're just lost in their smart device. And then you have the other part of Gen Z, which is where I think Jesus Ayala and this other kid fall in, to where they feel like, you know what, the rules don't apply to them. They can do whatever the heck they want. And I get it. Gen X, millennials, we've all had people in our generation that have had this, I'm above the law. I don't have to follow the rules. There's always bad apples in every bunch. But I just feel like this Gen Z, it's like there's a complete disconnect. And then there's the other ones like that were growing up in the George Floyd 2020 summer. They might have been 10 at the time or 13 or 16, and they've seen the media. Mm-hmm. They've seen the way police are vilified, and all the left-wing talking points are about defendants' rights and the accused's rights and criminal second chances and this and that. And they just feel like, you know what? I'm smart. I know that I'm probably not going to get dealt with harshly, and I'll get a third, a seventh, a 32nd chance. A guy in New York with the subway with the chokehold with the Marine, that guy had 42 priors. How does anybody, that's what I don't get, is how anybody can actually be on the street with 42 priors. There's the old 3 strikes and you're outlaw in this country, 3 felonies, then you're gone away for life. And I get it, not all 42 of these were felonies. But there's got to be a point where we say, you know what, why are we going to risk the lives of innocent civilians and citizens in the name of social justice when this guy, regardless whether he's white or black, whether he's gay or straight, it doesn't matter. You commit those crimes. That's the thing I love about Tim Scott. When Tim Scott kept it simple, he says, take out a loan, pay it back.
Yeah.
Commit a crime, go to jail.
Yep.
It's not difficult.
I'm just trying to look for some glimmer of hope out of the story with Chief Probst that you've been talking about, 64-year-old retired chief. The only glimmer of hope I see is that there was a school resource officer who, this is I'm just trying to find something positive.
Yeah.
It was a student who was appalled and horrified by the video you've been talking about, Nick. And so it was a student who went to a school resource officer and showed the officer that video.
Uh-huh.
And so I am thankful for that in part that led police to these 2 suspects, these teen suspects.
Yeah.
And so it does give us hope that there was a kid out there who, because they were bragging about it, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and they had carjacked a vehicle or stolen a vehicle.
It was like they were in a competition, like it was a game.
And so there was a kid, a classmate apparently, who was horrified and did the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so at least that does give us some hope. I hope that kid's not even identified, quite frankly.
Yeah.
They might be bullied at school.
Yeah. Ayala is being held at Clark County Detention Center without bail. And he was handed 18 different charges, including murder, attempted murder, and grand larceny because he stole a Hyundai Elantra. Tell you what, it's always the Hyundai. Have you noticed that? all carjackings, all crimes, it's like Hyundai or Kia or Hyundai. You can take that to the bank like 80% of the time. It's really remarkable. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. The cut sheet's just about 20 minutes out. Also, on the other side, a big victory for my boy, Mr. Kennedy, down in Louisiana when it comes to all the gender and sexualization nonsense in books in schools. And he just picked up a big W. We'll give you those details right now in just a few minutes. But speaking of picking up a big W, you can pick up a big W at the Piazza Auto Group. In fact, you can pick up a big truck right now. I recently leased a 2023 Honda Ridgeline from Piazza Honda of Springfield, and I absolutely love it. If you're a truck person like me, now is the time to visit Piazza Honda in Springfield. You can also stop by their other locations with Honda in Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading, because right now, 0.9% APR financing. And you can also get special finance rates on all of their other award-winning vehicles and models in the Honda family, from the Civic to the Accord, the CR-V, the Pilot, and more. I've actually seen a handful of the Pilots lately. They remodeled that SUV. That thing is beautiful. And also the Accord, very stylish looking. The Piazza Auto Group, now with 17 brands, 35 locations. It's your go-to for all things automotive, whether you're in the market for new or certified pre-owned. That's why I work with them. That's why Dawn works with them. My sister's on the verge of working with them, and you can as well. Just go to piazzaautogroup.com.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
John was compensated for his time. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are partnering again with our Costco members. Purchase a certified 2020, 21, or 22 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an incredible additional discount up to $1,500 off. A discount added to the unbelievably already aggressive pricing at Cherry Hill Volvo. Join us for this special offer. Cherry Hill Volvo and Costco and you, perfect together.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much my cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com.
Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Last night was crazy because, of course, it's back to school time, back to school night where you do your kids' schedule. I think I got home at, I don't even know, it was like 9:30 at night, right? But I had made this wonderful, homemade, delicious beef stroganoff dinner, cream sauce, tender beef, and mushrooms, homemade dinner that I had simmering for the family, for Larry and the boys. Homemade, just not by me, thanks to whatacrock.com. They have a huge variety of delicious, ready-made meals designed for your slow cooker. Make it so easy. I order online at whatacrock.com, and I get that ready-made meal delivered to my doorstep and just pop it in the slow cooker in the early afternoon. We run around all day. For me, I didn't even come home for dinner time. Obviously, I was still out till late at night. But that dinner, good to go, simmering, and just making the house smell so good. And right now, all the new fall specials are coming out. So whether it's that wonderful pot roast or whether it's the delicious chicken meals, beef meals, the hearty beef chili is delish. And especially, they even have some special sauces and dips, for those tailgate parties, whether it's football on Monday night or whether it's the high school football games, and we do that tailgate in the afternoon. My meals are always so popular, but there's no cleanup, no mess. It's so easy. So just use promo code WPHT, $10 off your first order. Just do this. Whatacrock.com. I've been doing this for years. They're great. And just like I'd make it homemade, except, I didn't make it. PHT, WPHT, that's your code and your key for $10 off. Whatacrock.com. Thank you for making my life more delicious. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Riverton, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Yeah, Kayal and Company, 7:31. Welcome back in. Nick, Dawn, and Greg on this Friday morning. The Cut Sheet coming up in 13 minutes here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. You can stream us live on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. I got to tell you, there are a handful of people in politics, whether it's in the Senate, Congress, obviously in the White House, guys that are running for governor, females that are going from being a politician to working in media, that I just find to be compelling. It's like the complete opposite of Anderson Cooper. Like Anderson Cooper, I said yesterday on the show, the most uninteresting person on television, which apparently that made the rounds yesterday across the industry, is Barrett News Media decided to snoop in and listen to us while we were doing the show, and they wrote up a big piece on this.
I didn't even see that, really.
Yeah, where
Okay.
when we were destroying CNN for their weekend ratings.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. They took the quote of me saying that Matt Rooney's audience is bigger than Anderson Cooper's. So we got a little national exposure for that yesterday. But one of the people that I could just listen to talk all the time is John Kennedy, Senator, Republican from Louisiana. He's great. He's just one of these guys, sometimes could you explain to me? And he starts grilling people. And we've seen so many times senators and members of the House, they're basically interrogating somebody on Capitol Hill, and they ask a very simple question. And whoever it might be, it could be somebody from the FBI, it could be Merrick Garland, it could be an author about a transgendered queer book that we've talked about, Gender Queer, this graphic novel that is, facing book bans in schools, and rightfully so. And they can't answer the question, or they answer the question with a question of their own. And then they have this back and forth, and it's great. And John Kennedy, we played this for you. I want to say this was right around 9/11. It was somewhere between like the 10th and the 12th of September. It made its way on the cut sheet. Stalker played it, and we had a good time with it because Kennedy was just going after her. And, then we're obviously having fun with the way Kennedy delivers his speeches. And he starts reading an excerpt from the book. If you don't know what we're talking about, let's take a little trip down memory lane because we're going to play this for you, and then we're going to give you the update and how Mr. Kennedy has picked up a win.
Well, let me just say this before we do this, because I did this first
Oh,
time.
yeah, disclaimer.
If you have children in the car,
yes,
please turn us off, come back to us in about 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Because you're not bleeping it out?
No, I bleeped it out. It's the same thing we played last time, but it's graphic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want anybody who has
But it is bleep.
children in the car. Yes, of course, for FCC reasons.
Turn the volume all the way down.
Or you could put the kids they have their headphones on.
Yeah.
And they're watching a movie.
Yeah. All the kids are probably on YouTube anyway. They don't hear dad or mom anyway right now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do we give everybody enough time?
You've been warned.
You've been warned.
The second is another much discussed book. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called Genderqueer. Okay? Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your in my mouth. I'm going to give you the of your life. Then I want you out of me. End quote.
Got it?
Got it. So there's good enough context to refresh your memory.
And what's the title of the book?
Genderqueer.
Genderqueer, yes.
Genderqueer. So now,
which is in the headlines all the time.
That's
it's being
correct.
defended locally as well.
And you're a radical. You're an extremist. Dawn, you, Meg Brock, Moms for Liberty. But the fact that you don't want your child to have that book, you're a right-wing nut job. You're a threat to democracy, and I think the authorities should come and take you off the school property immediately. So that's the quote that we played for you. And even the Illinois Secretary of State, Alexei Giannoulias, a Democrat, and an opponent of so-called book bans, had to acknowledge that the passage was, quote, very disturbing, especially coming out of the mouth of an aged man like Senator Kennedy. But the big takeaway here is because he was grilling multiple people about this. So now the update is the author of Genderqueer admits that the book is inappropriate for young children after a Republican senator reads it during a hearing, saying, quote, I don't recommend this book for kids. Quote, I originally wrote it for my parents and then for older teens, so I'm assuming 16, 17, 18, 19, who were already asking these questions about themselves. So says the author, I don't recommend this book for kids. So the author is, let me see here. It's Kababe. What's the first name? Some of these articles, like I know the person's first name here. I don't know. Kababe, Kobabe. This person who benefits from this book being all over the place and being purchased and sold and available in every possible form possible. It says this is not appropriate for children.
And one thing, and we've talked about this, but this book that he just read is one of the books in Bucks County, and we talk about the Central Bucks schools all the time.
Yeah.
This book is one of the books that candidates right now are running on in our area in Bucks and Chester, that they're actually Democrats who say, look at those Republican candidates who want to ban books. This is one of the books that we're talking about.
Maya Kababe is her name. Or his name. I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but that's the author of the book, Genderqueer. So if the person that wrote it says it's not appropriate for teenagers or children in schools,
Thank you, Maya.
How can any parent sit there and say, or any administrator, any school district employee, teacher, principal, guidance counselor say, oh, it's okay?
I don't understand who's approving these books that are if the author is saying, no, these shouldn't be in schools.
Yeah.
Who are the people that are approving these books to be in
Thank
schools?
you.
That's a great question. And if we have any teachers or school district people that are listening, I would just love to know. So, let's just visualize a school library. What is the vetting process for every single book that comes in and says, okay, that's appropriate, or that is educational, or because we're at the point now where it's all revisionist history. We're looking at all these books that, well, this book's been in the schools since 1943, but in 2021, we came to the realization that it's offensive to so-and-so and it needs to be removed. So some books, what was it, Mark Twain and Tom, a lot of these books that are like now you're like, whoa.
Huckleberry Finn.
Huckleberry Finn.
And what was the other one, Dawn, that they reference in there? It's just like Huckleberry Finn and Death of Salesman, or I don't know, one of those.
And
one of those
wasn't
books.
To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yes.
Books that have been around for 100 years in schools.
Genderqueer, just like that.
Yes, those are removed, yet you heard what Mr. Kennedy had to say in that 60-second clip we played for you, and that's a explicit R-rated adult, not R-rated, X-rated piece of content.
I was going to say that's,
and I'll be honest, like, you know, I love laughing at Kennedy the way he delivers his speech, but hearing him read that, that's a little cringy.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm thinking about my daughters who might be 14 and be a freshman in a high school, and they come across that excerpt in the book, and they come to me and they say, and I'm like, hey, Kristen, you want to handle this one?
Well, the best part of this is that you hear some people say, "Oh, you guys really against it because it's a gay book." Like,
no.
I don't know, man. Like, there's
just take out. Let him read that and pretend that it's about a heterosexual relationship.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That's the identity of those people don't matter to me. It's the acts.
It's the physical acts.
Yes.
And that's part of the problem that even some LGB groups have come out and said, "Whoa, wait a minute. Don't confuse the way people are and relationships with these acts, and that should be taught in schools."
Right.
So
and I'm telling you, some of these school board, I can go through and poll these for you. Some of these heated school board meetings that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And across our region, this is happening this week right now, where there are parents as well as school board candidates who want that book in the school.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what the Philadelphia Inquirer, I just want to point out to you, when they say a controversial, these parents, these Republican school board candidates and school board, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're saying that would be controversial to ban that.
Yes. Teach them what
Oh
we
my
are paying
goodness.
you to teach them. Teach them math. Teach them reading. Teach them history, although history is under attack as well. Teach them science. Keep the sexual... look, there's a point in time in school where there is sex education. We've all had sex ed. We've all been there, whether you're in 7th grade or 6th grade or 9th grade or whenever you take it. And then it's usually the gym teacher that is also the physical education teacher and sex ed teacher. And we all sit there like immature kids and giggle when they mention the body parts of a man and a female. But this stuff, the acts that are being portrayed here, again, forget whether it's with a straight guy and a straight woman or two guys or two girls or whatever you want it to be. And when, to your point on, when the LGB of LGBTQIA LMNOP XYZ plus gets offended, it's the small percentage of a group that has such an extreme view. And then most people, much like the trans athletes stories we keep talking about, the latest Gallup poll, 71% of Americans say biological men should not be competing against females in sports. But you're a radical, even though 70% say it's wrong if you say you agree with it.
Well, to that point, what's so infuriating about this is that this isn't really, and I'm sure people are going to scoff at me, but like this isn't really like liberals who want this. Like, there's not a lot of people who want that book in their kids' schools.
Yeah,
it's to your point. It's like a vocal minority of people.
It's the fringe
who want to cause an S storm that are doing this.
Oh, I know.
That's it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know anybody that would hear that and say, yeah, I want my 13-year-old reading that or
your
whatever.
13-year-old's going to read not only about these sexual acts, but these sex toys that are being used in that clip that Kennedy just talked about. You want your 12-year-old hearing that? I would love to find a parent that actually says, I have no problem with that. They're probably not a great parent, and they probably just give their kid an iPad and say, go play with YouTube for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then lastly on this front, before we get to the cut sheet in about 90 seconds, I saw this story down at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, where doctors are coming out and now saying that transgender women should be allowed to compete in female sports because it boosts their mental health and self-esteem. So I'll be damned to the mental health and the self-esteem for the biological female, but now we want to let men who think they are women compete against women in sports because we don't want it to affect their mental health and self-esteem, which I would say it's already a mental health issue that your name is Bob and you want to be Betty. But now if we don't allow you to dominate a swim meet or a track race or a basketball game or whatever it might be, well, then they're going to be in their feelings and it'll be detrimental to their mental health and their self-esteem. And then they'll probably just, sit on their bed and post videos on TikTok. But these doctors and researchers, Vanderbilt it's so odd because I lived 10, 15 minutes from Vanderbilt. And Nashville is such an odd place of transplants and people that move there. But, it's a blue progressive city in a deeply red state for the most part. And Vanderbilt University is like the Harvard of the Southeast, with universities like Georgia and Alabama and Florida and Auburn. And then there's Vanderbilt. And it's really just an academic institution. They're not really anything good in sports, but they are so super left. And it's, again, like most people in Tennessee, I can guarantee you, would be opposed to this and laugh about my daughter's mental health is expendable in the name of making sure that somebody that's going through a trans issue, his mental health is okay. And it would be like 9 out of 10 people in Tennessee would object to this. Yet they'll try to, label you because, at Vanderbilt, we believe. Give me a break.
By the way, some instant feedback here on the YouTube channel. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. If you're watching right now, please hit the like button. We need 40 more likes to get to 100. Carl writes, Central Bucks School Board, led by head rat Democrat Karen Smith, want this genderqueer book in our kids' library. We have a 6-3 representative majority. Let's stretch that to a 9-0 November 7th.
Wow.
Yeah, and please, look at look at the candidates seriously, and we should all be looking at this. Smith, you just mentioned, told the Philadelphia Inquirer, quote, "Well, books and being asked about genderqueer, quote." Well, these types of books, like genderqueer, are intended for our oldest students.
Can you imagine?
What does that mean? 14, 15, 16? I don't think so. Like, no.
Yep.
So the admission there by those Democrats, and by contrast, you look at somebody, for example, like Arthur Martino, who is a Google engineer, a mom with young kids in the school. And she's just talking about, hey, I want to get my kids ready for the digital age and all of that. She doesn't want to, basically indoctrinate kids. But how could you pass up on somebody who's actually like an iconic engineer of a major, like this woman's brilliant.
Google engineer sounds like
right?
a nice salary.
But she's somebody who's so down to earth. I love her. I mean, and how this is not even a contest to me. I wish I were, in that district and I could vote for people like her. But I just hope people wake up and get informed because this is your kid's future.
Once your kids get out of high school, you and Larry need to move out of Philadelphia County, move just across to Bucks County, and I need you there ranting and raving.
Yeah, by the way, these books should not be in schools for kids to read. They should read about, or they should hear about all of the stuff like I did on NWA records in back alleys.
Yeah, that's correct.
So,
smoking a doobie.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you want
like God intended.
Yes.
And if you want that book, go for it.
Yeah.
Greg, like God intended.
It's true. It's true. We all,
it's a sin.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying, it's like, I'm not saying kids are immune from hearing about this stuff because they definitely do. It's a new phenomenon that you can learn about this stuff in school.
Yep.
Like, honestly, check out books like this in the library. I would have spent way more time in the library if I would have known books like this were there.
I used to learn about this by putting on Channel 99 on the scrambled TV and hoping to see just something through the fuzz. My mom would come by. What are you looking at? Nothing, Mom. The TV's not working again.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the best too.
Yeah,
because you could hear it a little bit.
Did you have a hot box back in the day?
I didn't, but we had the scrambled thing. But my scramble wouldn't just be like shh; it would be squiggly lines,
right?
And like you could hear the dialogue or the whatever else was going on.
Well, my dad got tired of buying wrestling pay-per-views for me every month at $59.99, so he got us a hot box for the wrestling pay-per-views.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
I was doing other hot boxing in high school.
Yeah. We all have different childhoods. 7:48 as we get to a Friday edition of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
Yes, what's on the cut sheet on the Friday edition, always the best edition, is sponsored by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo. Costco members save an additional $1,500 on certified 2020, 2021, or 2022 XC40, XC60, or XC90 off of Cherry Hill Volvo's already aggressive pricing. Visit them today on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. I'm going to start to the crew in the back there. I'm going to start with cut 16 here. Dawn mentioned this in the 7 o'clock news. Dave McCormick has announced his bid for United States Senate in Pennsylvania. This is Action 4 News from, I guess, Pittsburgh. They have a little news package about this, and then I'll play. He was on with Hannity last night, so I'll play that as well. This is cut 16.
Yeah, Chris and Andrew, that's right. And McCormick needs Republicans across the ideological spectrum to coalesce behind his candidacy. That means winning the support of those further to the right, like fans of State Senator Doug Mastriano, the former gubernatorial candidate who has already indicated he will not run in this Senate primary. And tonight, McCormick was talking like a candidate with his eyes already on the general election.
My opponent was born to run for political office, and I was born to shake things up.
Republican David McCormick pitching himself as the candidate to unite the Republican Party in the Commonwealth.
Together we will defeat Bob Casey.
Painting himself as a Washington outsider, the 58-year-old former hedge fund executive and military veteran called Senator Bob Casey a rubber stamp for President Joe Biden.
Bob Casey's not going to change Washington. Bob Casey is Washington.
McCormick saying, quote, "The America we know is slipping away," end quote, lamenting the inflation rate, current border policies, and crime.
We cannot lose our country. We cannot lose our culture. We must not accept the status quo.
Local Republican leaders hoping McCormick can help win back the U.S. Senate.
I think faced with the problems that are facing the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the USA today, I think we need a leader and a visionary like Dave McCormick in Washington representing us.
There you go.
So I like it. Born to shake things up, the outsider, the business background with the military background. To me, that's a double check mark the way I look at it. And the guy that can deny the rubber stamper with Joe Biden. You know, it kind of, and obviously don't take this the wrong way because he doesn't have the charisma or the name notoriety, but it kind of feels like a few of those bullet points that I just rattled off remind you of Donald Trump a little bit. And then also with getting away from some of the hardcore conservative stuff of Mastriano, a lot like Trump, where we were talking earlier this week, where Trump wasn't as adamant as DeSantis is about, you know, a man being a woman. Like, you're going to need to have a little sliding away from the hardcore right to win these types of things. So I think McCormick is in a decent position.
I would say this, call current Senator Bob Casey, call him Junior, just because the name, you know, even when he just said it, I cringed that he was saying the name Bob Casey, who's beloved. I mean, he's beloved by relatives of mine who are listening right now who remember his late great dad, Bob Casey, who was, you know, the last, somebody who was a pro-life Democrat and devout Catholic who stood up for his faith and his beliefs.
Sure.
And so his father, beloved, and that name just evokes in so many people this beloved, respected individual. And obviously, he's Junior. He is the lesser Casey. And so if you're going to say he's going to be like Trump, call him the lesser Casey, call him Junior and Junior Joe. You know what I mean? Like, make those ties. But I think he should try not to invoke the father's name.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
The other piece of it is that McCormick, you know, you'll hear in the headlines all the time, oh, hedge fund, former hedge fund CEO. But would they never call Governor Phil Murphy, who was an even bigger, you know, if you want to say hedge fund, very wealthy. You'll never hear anybody ever. Have you heard that?
No, well, he's got a D in front of his name.
Mm-hmm. So, but the good thing with McCormick, even though he was a combat war veteran and West Point grad and all of that, he can provide some self-funding. And, of course, that's real benefit here to the GOP. He just ran last time. It was highly contentious. We know that. But so he does have the name recognition from the last run in Pennsylvania, so he can go off of that.
I'll tell you who I'd like to get on to talk about that and his chances is our boy Athen Koutsarumbas. I bet you he's going to have some columns coming up with real clear politics on that for sure.
John writes on the YouTube chat, do any of them actually change Washington? That's a very good point. Everybody runs on, I am the change for Washington. I will change, and nobody changes Washington.
Right. I'm gonna drain the swamp. And it's very difficult.
It's a lot of
Well, those polling numbers told us they're tired of hearing that stuff.
Well, the one criticism.
But wait a minute, the change. Here's the thing. It's a balance of power. Okay, so will Dave McCormick, as Senator McCormick, will he go to Washington and think he's going to personally, individually change it? You can question that.
Sure.
But this is the balance of power, and we have to think about this. So think about everything that you talk about Joe has passed, and think about who could have stopped him. We've seen the fact that the House. Look at the House Ethics Committee. Look at the subpoena power. Look at what we now know, which, by the way, we would not have known.
And we've lost.
Right.
Yep.
It's critical. And so anybody who says right now, I'm not going to vote, if it's a blah, 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 I don't believe in it, so okay, then it's your fault.
Then you're powerless.
That's right.
And keep tweeting us.
And then you won't know, you don't know what you don't know. Right?
Correct.
So fine, live in ignorance.
Yep.
One of the criticisms against Mr. McCormick is that he actually lives in Connecticut. He addressed that yesterday or last night on Sean Hannity's show, and this is what he said about that.
Yeah, well, I'm a seventh generation Pennsylvanian. I was born there and raised there, ran a business there, created jobs there. But, like many, and I live there now, but like many Pennsylvanians, Sean, I'm divorced. And my youngest daughter is finishing high school. She lives with her mom in Connecticut. And I'm going to go to Connecticut and spend time with my daughter. And if that's a political problem, then so be it. But I think this is really a distraction because Bob Casey and the Democrats don't want to talk about the failing Joe Biden agenda that Bob Casey has rubber-stamped every step along the way. And so I'm going to just keep coming back to the issues of the majority of Pennsylvanians think the country's headed in the wrong direction. And Joe Biden has been lockstep with Bob Casey, or Bob Casey lockstep with Joe Biden every step of the way.
Okay, so he's got to go to California. He's got to go to Connecticut to see his kid in high school, divorced family. I totally get that. Not an issue for me. Is it an issue with the voters? Perhaps, because as he says that, I'm having a flashback to what were some of the criticisms of Mehmet Oz as we were leading up to the midterms in the fall of 2022 about, lack of residency or whatever it was in Pennsylvania, and he's not a true Pennsylvanian. And look, I don't know that led to his downfall and demise and losing to the Feder person, but that was something that was a talking point that we heard. So I'd like to think it's not an issue, but perhaps a small one.
Do I remember Hillary Clinton when she ran for United States Senate in New York? Was this a big media talking point? That,
where was she living at that? Was she living in Arkansas still?
Whatever. She's from Chicago. She's born and raised in Chicago, and then lived with Slick Willie when he was governor for years. And you know what I mean?
Arkansas. So, they were in Arkansas in the 80s.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is,
in front of me.
I know they were. Well, he was a longtime governor there.
Yeah.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is she from New York when she was senator? Did you hear this as a talking point? How much, you know what I'm saying? We never hear it on the other side.
Yeah.
Same, and I mentioned Governor Phil Murphy.
But
he's from he's from Boston.
I hate the whole where you're from, where you live thing. I remember when I first got my first sports show in this city. Oh, he's from the Lehigh Valley. Dude, I'm not from Kansas. like 40 minutes up the turnpike. You act like I'm in like a different time zone.
But the media never focused on the fact that Governor Phil Murphy was not from New Jersey. My point is, the media never focuses when it's a Democrat.
Of course, residency only matters when you're an R.
Dan writes on the YouTube chat, Oz wasn't elected, though.
I know.
He wasn't elected, and that to me, it just turned out he was not a good candidate, and it has nothing to do with where he's from, whatever.
Yeah, probably right.
One more on McCormick, and then we'll move on. He was asked about what we talked about yesterday about Governor Shapiro and the automatic voter registration. This is what he said on his thoughts on that.
Well, I haven't studied it carefully, but I'm very worried about it because, as you know, Pennsylvania has been notorious for voting irregularities. And the important things you could do from an election perspective would be voter ID, which is something that we should have across Pennsylvania and really across the country. But what's happening in Pennsylvania is very interesting. The voter registration gap is closing, and we've gained as Republicans about 800, 900,000 voters over the last 6 or 7 years. So this is a state that Republicans can and should win more consistently, and we need great candidates. We need to support mail-in ballots, and we need to go win elections so we can take this country in the right direction.
Well, that's a very interesting dynamic there.
That's the Hannity music.
Yeah.
Telling him to wrap it up there,
Get
buddy.
to break.
We have to get to break.
We got the My Pillow guy's got a spot coming up.
Sorry.
No, interesting because, and I remember post midterms where Zioli said that he believes Pennsylvania is now a blue state, and I agree with him. And I'm not saying Pennsylvania is not winnable for Republicans, but I find that interesting based on the belief, if you believe that Pennsylvania is now a blue state, but then you hear 800,000 to 900,000 new registered Republicans in less than a decade in this state. That's an alarming number. It's a positive. I think that's a good sign. But if you would have told me that yesterday, I'd be like, are you sure about that? Almost 1 million new registered Republicans? I would have had my doubts.
Yeah.
So that should give Republicans hope. Like, we see how many battleground states are there? How many times are we looking at polls in the last week or two where Trump and Biden are neck and neck? Yet the narrative is, and I'm guilty of this at times as well because I get negative and I get pessimistic, that we can't win because of this or that, abortion or voter ID or whatever it might be. It's still there for the taking. You just, like, at the end of the day, you just got to get the right candidate with the right message. Because the Democrats aren't doing anything successful right now.
Yeah. Madeline Dean, another Pennsylvania congressperson.
Was local here
Montgomery County.
Montgomery County was on the Joy Reid, the readout, last night or the night before, discussing. We played the DOJ hearings with Merrick Garland. They were discussing that. She says that that moderate Republicans are embarrassed for their colleagues at the DOJ hearings. This is cut 4 there, kids.
And MSNBC legal analyst. Thank you both for being here. And Congresswoman, the other day I did a little rant that I sat home and wrote just in watching Republicans on television and asking isn't there any chance that Republicans are simply embarrassed by what their representatives are doing? And I have to be honest with you today. The bits that I watched of this hearing today, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that this is our government. I'm embarrassed for Republicans, though they seem to have no capacity for being embarrassed for themselves. And I just wonder how it felt for you to sit through this day of, I can't call it anything other than nonsense.
I feel embarrassment for our committee, for the dignity of our work. I feel that embarrassment. And speaking to other moderate Republicans who are sadly too quiet, they are embarrassed for this. I'm on other committees. I'm on Foreign Affairs. There is a dignity to our disagreement. You see in this committee, the Judiciary Committee, there is no dignity. There was no oversight. This is fecklessness and fealty to one former president. And I was thinking, the Attorney General was sworn in to tell the truth. I wish that all of us had been sworn in to tell the truth, because you saw the lie after disinformation on this committee. It is shameless, but they know no shame.
So a couple of things here. Joy Reid's line that she wrote at her rant at home while she was watching TV. She's got 14,000 producers. Somebody wrote that for her. But that being said, the content that matters with Madeline Dean in Montgomery County. So she's talking about, I want to make sure I understand this, that moderate Republicans, or the rhinos of the Republican Party, are embarrassed by those that are further to the right. So I don't know why be honest with it, I don't know why any Republican would really care what she has to say. That's coming from a Democrat. So, okay, let her think what she wants. Embarrassed? I don't know about embarrassed.
Yeah.
By the way, she went all the way from Montgomery County to go into Joy Reid's studio.
Oh, of course.
There's dozens of people that wanted to see her.
Man.
Karine Jean-Pierre was all over the place yesterday. She was getting questions about the border and migrants and illegal immigration, which we'll get to in a second. But I want to start with discussing the striking auto workers and if Joe Biden has plans to visit the striking auto workers as Trump has, Fetterman has. Karine Jean-Pierre says Biden has no plans to do that. This is cut 10.
Will the White House send an administration official to the picket lines with the striking UAW workers, or would President Biden himself go?
So don't have anything to lay out on any as regards to the president's schedule. What I can say is the president is very, I guess, seeing them continue to be at the negotiating table. All parties continuing to be at the negotiating table is a positive. That is important. They've been certainly doing that for the past 24/7. It is important to have that collective bargaining. The president has been very clear about that, and so we are going to assist the White House along with the Department of Labor with the leadership of Acting Secretary Sue to make sure that we provide assistance or any guidance as it is requested to all parties.
That's fine by me. If Joe doesn't have time in his busy schedule to go out there, that's fine for Republicans. Let Republicans go out there and start working towards getting the union vote. Joe claims to be the most pro-union president and Democrat of all time, but we know Joe's got a busy schedule. He doesn't have time for that. He doesn't have time for East Palestine. He's probably not going to go to Hawaii.
It's a mistake, though. It's a mistake on
Absolutely.
his part to not go there.
1,000%.
Tim Scott was also on with Hannity the other night discussing the UAW strike, and he said that we need a president who says we're not going to subsidize unions. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, because the audio stinks of him saying that, so I didn't pull it.
Okay.
But he went back and he did the old Reagan speech about if these union workers want to strike, we'll fire them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know in 2023, 2024 if that's the smartest move for Republicans, because I said the stat yesterday that 6 out of 10 union households, not talking about the unions themselves, but union households vote Republican.
Yeah.
So that's your base you're talking to.
Yes.
This is what Tim Scott said to Hannity. This is cut 3.
Y'all remember that $1.9 trillion COVID package deal passed in 2021? There was $86 billion to bail out the unions. That's terrible.
It's nuts.
They keep offering
because
deals.
The unions are forcing the Democrats, they're using.
They own them.
They own them.
They own them. And when that happens, the taxpayers, there's no such thing as a federal dollar. They're your dollars. They're all your dollars. Putting $86 billion of your money into shoring up union pensions because they keep over-promising and under-delivering, it's just wrong. We need a president who says we are not going to subsidize unions, period. Mm-hmm. You make the deal, you live by the deal. If it goes belly up, it's not on the back of the taxpayer.
How do you like this?
It's a very interesting point based on what he's talking about and the conclusion that you arrived at, Greg, because I would argue that with that stat, 6 out of 10, the Republicans right now cannot afford to lose any little section or segment of their base. And if that's your belief and opinion, that could really work against you. And oh, by the way, nice to see Tim Scott still in the race. I haven't heard that guy in months.
I just think that it's a losing battle if the Republicans speak like this against unions, because that is the base that they need to. If they're going to be the working party, the working class party,
right,
they need to speak to
Correct.
Not the unions,
right,
the people in the union.
Yes.
And when you talk about subsidizing unions and everything like that, where do you think that money's going to?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I just think it's the old school Republican mentality, the Ronald Reagan of like, well, we'll just tell them I don't think that that's the right move.
Yeah, I agree. I just love the fact that Tim Scott said there are no federal dollars. Those are your dollars. Very good point.
We've discussed the thought or the possibility that Nikki Haley might be the Veep for President Trump. the Trump candidacy in 2024. Well, she said something yesterday in New Hampshire that I think has officially eliminated her.
Oh, boy.
She said this about Donald Trump. This is cut 12, kids.
He was the right president at the right time. He was thin-skinned and easily distracted.
Uh-oh.
He didn't do anything on fiscal policy.
Uh-oh.
And really spent a lot of money, and we're all paying the price for it. He used to be good on foreign policy, and now he has started to walk it back and get weak in the knees when it comes to Ukraine.
Wow. He was the right president at the right time, but he was thin-skinned.
It's the thin-skinned and easily distracted. He's going to see that and be like, nope.
Oh, yeah. I sense a Truth Social post coming.
Do we agree?
Yeah, that's not going to work well for her. Unless somehow that just completely goes over his head and he doesn't catch wind of that. Yeah.
You want to defend your girl?
I mean, she's running for president.
No, I get it.
That's part of the gig. So she's going to say what she's going to say.
So she's like a lot like DeSantis, where in this regard, she's not running to be a Veep or to lose or to be a member of a cabinet or anything like that. She's playing for the top prize or no prize at all, like DeSantis. While there are others, like Vivek, that won't say anything negative about Trump because he just wants to be invited to the party. Vivek's like the guy that wants to get the invite to the football player cheerleader dance date like in May. And he's not going to say anything to irk the football captain.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey.
He just wants to go there and hang out and drink at the punch bowl.
She's got to say what she's got to say because after Iowa and New Hampshire, it's over. So, she's got to show something respectable. And by the way, she's going to do whatever she's going to do. If ultimately Trump chooses her as Veep, she's going to, if he decides that that's the best strategy to deliver the South and the Bible Belt and whatnot, then, that's going to be Trump's choice.
That could very well also turn off Trump supporters to her. You don't think so?
No, Trump supporters are already turned off by her.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But I mean,
because she's a war hawk.
Between the war and being pro-Ukraine.
She is. She's the establishment Republican that everybody dislikes.
Well, I don't think everybody. Okay, I don't think everybody dislikes her. Number one, but number two, because Trump is a proven winner, he's a PW. Okay, peace and prosperity, right there. Boom. I don't think Trump supporters really care as much about the Veep. I just don't. So I think with Trump, the Veep is not. It's who he's going to choose, which is why he's probably not going to choose her. He can choose whoever he wants. But on the other hand, the Veep does become important and is more of a talking point because of Biden's age and every day. Sadly, he's declining. So it's not just his horrible, miserable failing policies.
Let's look at it through this lens. Forget who we think is the best Veep possibility for Trump. Who is the best Veep to get Trump elected? Forget who you personally think is the best.
Trump is the best to get him elected.
I know, but at the end of the day, is there anybody out there that softens him up a little bit, or maybe wins over an undecided? Because when we were sitting here going through the names last week, Carrie Lake, no shot. That would be just a death sentence. Kristi Noem. Then we got into Nikki Haley. Who else have we gotten into?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard earlier this morning.
Well, didn't Dawn say that she stood side by side with RFK? Didn't you say that this morning?
Well, she was on recently and asked the question whether or not, if let's say the No Labels Party, or if she's asked to run for president or run on a ticket. She was asked the question, would you run? Now, most people give that political, schmoozy, no answer, mushy.
Right.
She didn't. She said, if I am called to serve, I will take the call. The question was more, talking about no labels and Joe Manchin, because that's who they want.
Yeah.
But actually, she never said if it's no labels or what have you.
Yep.
She was just saying, if I'm called to serve, I will answer that call.
Yep.
Which, the way that she answered, it's like,
yeah.
Well, what if because she is an interesting, and I don't know, the GOP, what would they think about it? They might have a hissy fit over that because she's not necessarily your GOP
right.
person.
But she's also now an employee at Fox News. I'm assuming she's on a contract. Wouldn't she have to be like Chris Christie and get out of that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would. But
Okay.
she would. I mean, but it tees up. I mean, clearly because Trump, this would be his only, he's already been president. So it tees up the next person for the future. And Tulsi would know that. So to me, this is provocative. And I sort of love thinking about that. And, would she make the difference? Because she's so different and she's so independent. And would that get the sliver of independent voters to say, I like this ticket? I don't know.
We're also, so are we all of the belief and in agreement that whoever is Trump's VP, it will not be a straight white cis man? It's going to be a female or a minority candidate, right?
Well, Renee on the
Probably.
YouTube chat writes Trump and RFK Jr.
From a content standpoint, that's gold. From the sake of doing this show, give me that.
Nah. No, it's not.
You don't think? Well, I didn't say it was going to happen. I
don't think I don't think it has a chance in hell of happening.
Look, I told you a few months ago. I was I was somewhere with a bunch of union Democrats. Let me repeat that. Union Democrats.
Okay.
They were all for RFK Jr. Every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's a very interesting ticket. I think if you would have to convince RFK Jr. to do that, I don't think he would, but you would have to convince him to do that. I think that would be a very powerful ticket, to be honest with you.
And hasn't Trump said in the past, when prompted about that, he's had relatively decent things to say about RFK Jr., I believe, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I agree with both of you. It's a long shot. I don't really think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's
fun to talk about.
I think it would be a smart move.
Yeah.
It would,
I'm just looking at it selfishly from doing this show 20 hours a week.
It would definitely do him more good than a Nikki Haley. Tulsi Gabbard, I think, would be the top choice for me if I was advising that campaign.
Okay.
But
I'm thinking of poor Vivek right now. He's done everything to be Trump's boy.
Well,
he's just going to be hanging out in the background.
Speaking of that, he was interviewed by Dasha Burns on NBC, I guess. We talk about lanes all the time, and he's kind of running as Trump 2.0. Can that actually work for him? He addresses that. This is cut 11.
But poll after poll shows former President Trump with a commanding lead in the Republican primary. A ton of the voters at your events say they like you. They're voting for Trump.
I do think that I will be able to convince the America First base that I'm part of, that I'm best positioned to actually lead this nation forward.
So it's very interesting that you mentioned there he's running as Trump 2.0. And think about the way this has all played out in the last 9 months. Remember the Piers Morgan interview where he labeled DeSantis as the Diet Coke to Trump's Coke, or the Coke Light. And now DeSantis has crashed and burned and has nothing in common that would even remotely resemble Trump Light or Trump 2.0. Yet the narrative is that Vivek at 38, the outsider, is kind of that guy and has risen up the polls. Yet just yesterday we get some conversation going around the fact that there's a lot of people that view Vivek to be annoying.
Yeah.
Which is very fascinating.
Yeah, I think his cup of coffee in the spotlight has come and gone. Although we have a debate, next week, right?
We do, 27th.
So who knows what'll be there. But I heard that Trump is going to be giving a rally in Detroit that night anyway, which is
counter programming.
I told you this. I told you guys this. I think we all discussed this, that the best, not going on with Tucker, the best thing for him to do while they're debating of who's going to be in second place is for him to hold a rally, especially in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, all of the key battleground states.
Yes, indeed. Richard Notaro with a great tweet. He says, the pick for real Donald Trump Veep is easy. Senator John Kennedy would be the perfect pick. But by the way, I need a John Kennedy drop on my board because it's just too good.
Well, we can't. I'm going to veto any of the clips from that clip that we played.
Oh, yeah, nothing kinky.
It's just too.
Yeah.
I cringe hearing it sometimes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a Kennedy-Trump ticket with John Kennedy, not RFK?
By the way, we're 6 likes away from 100. What? Like, there's a ton of people watching right now. Are we not doing a good job today, people? YouTube.com/@1210WPHT.
You haven't pandered.
Friday morning.
You
What's
build
going
it,
on?
Come on,
your
here.
dreams. If you build it, it will come.
6 more likes to 100. Are we not? Is the show low energy today?
No, this show's
Are we
never
low energy?
I don't know.
There's no Jeb Bushes on this program.
I'm just wondering.
Did we say when you talk about Vivek Ramaswamy? Did we say this that in another New Hampshire poll, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis fell behind Vivek? You said that, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I made the analogy that he's like last place in the NFC East.
Although he's banking on Iowa, and they say in the next few days he's going to get the endorsement of the governor there, which means absolutely nothing. Because if you really go back, I think Ted Cruz won Iowa. It has no bearing on who's going to become the next president of the United States or even the nominee.
But if Ron DeSantis can't even get, let's say, what's the number in Iowa or New Hampshire? It's not going to get in New Hampshire.
Yep.
If he can't get something respectable,
Mm-hmm.
is he done? Do you know what I mean?
That's why I posed the question yesterday. I said, is he even salvageable in 2028?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, it's 5 years from now.
But he has to save face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just needs.
How's he going to be received in Florida when he comes back to finish his second term as governor? Because you talk to some people on Twitter and they feel like he kind of abandoned them, and most of them are like the diehard Trump supporter that live there, like Susie Cool. But I'm wondering what will be the collective public perception? How will he be perceived in that state, failing as miserably as he did in his POTUS run, but yet still, on paper, policy-wise, sensational governor?
What?
I'm sorry. I'm just reading the.
Anytime Stalker laughs, it's not because I said anything funny. It's because he's reading something.
The YouTube chat. Mike Braun asks, "Is Nick wearing a Charlotte Hornets windbreaker?"
Oh my God, Charlotte Hornets! No, it's just a random golf quarter zip.
The YouTube chat really is just.
I think the YouTube chat just likes to observe the way I look appearance-wise. They don't really care what I say on the show. They just want to point out, is he wearing a Braves shirt?
Yeah, and you mentioned this morning I shaved my beard.
I know.
So I'm beardless today.
Yes.
So.
Which I had I had a feeling it was coming. I really did.
It's the longest I've ever gone with it.
It looked good.
My son said something to me yesterday, and I was just like, I got to shave this thing.
Well, I'm not. I'm in full beard mode, so it'll be like this until the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So migrant encounters at the U.S.-Mexico border on pace to reach record highs in September.
Closed border. No migrant crisis.
The U.S. border authorities encountered more than 142,000 migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border in the first half of September, according to data shared by Mexico's president, a tally on pace to match or even surpass previous monthly highs.
Okay.
This was a big topic of conversation at the press briefing yesterday with Karine Jean-Pierre, and she still swears that Biden has taken historic action on the border. I guess he has if we're reaching record numbers of migrants crossing.
142,000 people. That's like filling up the link twice for an Eagles game on a Sunday. Now imagine that coming across the border.
Wow, when you put it like that, holy S, right?
Yep.
This is cut. Where are we here? Cut 9, kids.
Good to be here, Kareem. Thanks so much. I want to go back to immigration. In addition to Eagle Pass, El Paso is also seeing a new influx as well. I understand your comments about being a broken immigration system, but the administration also took credit following the end of Title 42 for the drop in border crossing numbers. Is it now taking responsibility for the rise in numbers?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gail. I'm so sorry. Finish your.
Yeah, and then secondly, you mentioned those 800 new troops that are going down to the border. Do you think that'll be enough?
Look, it's on top of what we have done already in the past 2 years under this administration. Look, every year, as you know, Gabe, I know you follow this very closely, U.S. sees ebbs and flows of migrants arriving fueled by seasonal trends, as you know, and efforts of smugglers to encourage migration. That is something that we see over and over again. And so certainly that plays into this. And so, and I understand your question, but here's the thing. As you know, the president has taken action upon action to try and deal what is happening at the border. Historic action without the help of Congress. And so we have asked over and over again to do this in a bipartisan way. which is why the president, his first piece of legislation was to deal with the immigration system. And and understanding how critical it was to do that. And so we have taken actions. We have taken multiple actions. But again, this happens. It ebbs and flows. That's what we see at the border for different trends, for different reasons. And so we think 3 important enforcement announcement yesterday. It's on top of what we've been able to do. And, and then you see it for yourself, what Congress has tried to do. Put forth a piece of legislation, a CR, a resolution, that does the opposite of what we're trying to do. When we're trying to fight fentanyl, right? When we're trying to deal with smugglers, when we're trying to put more legal enforcement at the border, they're trying to reverse that. And so that is the reality that we're dealing with. And so the president's going to continue to be committed, make sure we do this in a humane way, make sure that we do this in a safe and orderly fashion. And that's the commitment that the president has to the American people.
Joe Biden's commitment to protecting this nation from the southern border is about as intense as my commitment to stop drinking, okay? Which means nada. So let's think about this historic action. Yeah, it is historic because the phrase ebbs and flows is no longer applicable. It just flows. They've eliminated the ebbs. It's just flow, flow, flow. 142,000 people. And think about this, the big blue cities, the sanctuary cities, the mayors like Eric Adams in New York. It's to the point now where you've got the governor, Kathy Hochul, crushing. Like when you're state leaders and like the Biden administration shouldn't do this to appease Republicans or even to protect. Like, why don't you just do this to appease your own mayors and governors that rubber stamp everything you do, but you ignore them on this?
She was also asked how many people coming into the U.S. illegally is enough for Joe Biden.
Is this the Deuce Man?
No, is it? I'm not 100% sure. This is cut 7.
How many people coming into this country illegally is enough for President Biden then?
Say that last one.
How many people illegally coming into the United States is enough for President Biden's administration?
Enough for what?
5.9 million people have been encountered illegally.
I know the numbers, but enough for what?
Enough just to stop the flow.
As I mentioned, this is a problem that's been around for some time now, for decades. A broken system.
Yep. Yeah, broken system. Blame Donald Trump. Blame racism, climate change. Don't take any accountability for the fact that you have and the worst part of all of this is the amount of people that are in gangs, the cartel, the fentanyl, and you have people, like the whole world knows the southern border is open. So if you want to come into this country illegally and do something heinous, that's how you get in here. And then once you make your way to a sanctuary city, we have no idea where you go. We have no idea who you are, what you're doing, what you're up to. That should be a very, very alarming thing in this country. And 330 million, whatever it is. But I mentioned those numbers a few moments ago. 142,000 people. Imagine Eagles-Cowboys on a Sunday. It's 66,000 strong.
Yep.
Now multiply that twice and just take a look at that visual and then just picture that coming across a border in a matter of days. Like the running of the bulls.
She also says states using tools such as razor wire to stop illegal immigration is a political stunt.
Not a deterrent, but a political stunt. Okay.
This is cut 8.
There was footage yesterday of Border Patrol cutting some of the razor wire that Texas had installed. Governor Abbott has vowed to reinstall it. They have his border czar has pictures of people taking fresh razor wire out to the border to reinstall it. Is there now a federal policy of removing the barriers that Texas is installing?
So here's what I'll say. I would have to look into that. I did see those reports yesterday, but as it relates to Governor Abbott, we know what he has done these past couple of years while this president has been in office. He's turned this, when it comes to the border, he's turned this into a political stunt. And that's what he's done over and over again. That's what I can speak to. I did see those reports. I would have to go back and get a sense from the team and give you an answer on that.
He has shipped people in buses, not as a political stunt, but as a way to make mainstream media and those oblivious to what they're really facing and the problem they're facing at that border, on whether it's Texas or Arizona, to make it known to the masses that we're being overran. So
run.
It's no longer our issue. Well, okay, you ship them to New York, and then it's like, oh, well, yeah, you can come here. You can come to Philadelphia. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're out of vacancies. Now they're actually using out of commission college dorms in New York City to house some of these migrants.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Robert writes, and I don't want to comment on this because I feel like I'm going to be sexist if I do. So, Dawn, maybe you can help me out here. Robert says, she's pushing the rules of the color wheel with that clothing combination. If you're watching right now on YouTube, she has, I guess it's like a reddish-orange blazer and a yellow top. Do you see that, Dawn?
Yeah.
What, like, is that? That
very
is
bright.
It's very bright.
She's trying to, I don't know. Who knows?
It's Karine. Karine, can you explain your wardrobe today?
I would refer you to the one.
That's the least.
Yeah.
Her wardrobe malfunctions are the worst, or excuse me, are the least of her issues, right?
Yeah. Karine, what stores do you like to shop at from a retail standpoint?
I'm not going to get beyond that.
Finally, you mentioned the Deuce Man. She calls on him and then refuses to answer his question and says we're moving on. This is cut 6.
What do you call it here at the White House when 10,000 people illegally cross the border in a single day?
So what do you call it, Peter, when GOP puts forth a wait, no, you can't. I'm answering. Okay, we're gonna move
You're
on.
answering
No,
the question with a question?
no, we're moving on.
Great,
Moving.
please.
In the back. Go ahead.
You said you were stopping the flow at the border.
No. I
10,000
tried to
migrants.
answer, Peter. I
Okay.
tried to answer the question. You stopped me. Let's go. Go.
Wow.
No, you didn't try to answer. You answered his question with a question of your own, which is a complete pivot and a deflection. I'm telling you what. You thought the one thing I mentioned, and I loved seeing this, and I think, Dawn, you did as well. Once Psaki left for MSNBC, after all of her battles with Peter Doocy, they took a picture together. I don't get the sense that the Deuce Man and Karine will be taking any pictures together.
Yeah.
Or going out for cocktails.
I don't know. I feel like this is all.
But every time
it's a show, guys, come on.
Every time, and there's so many. I've always respected the few media people, whether it was locally here in Philadelphia with sports or nationally politically, the few that really hit them with hard hitting questions. And it's just so many times you have 80-90% of media. They just ask softball questions and, oh, Karine, how was your weekend? Nobody cares about how Karine's weekend was. Just ask the stinking question. And when she doesn't answer it, follow it up and rephrase it a different way. And she knows that he's a pain in the butt because he's one of those bulldogs. He keeps coming after her. And good for him.
Finally, before we get to Dawn's big three, Travis Kelce was on with the Pat McAfee show yesterday. And so for those of you that don't know, Jason Kelce was on with our sister station, and he seemed to have confirmed that Travis and Taylor Swift are dating. He was asked by one of the hosts over there, and he basically hinted around that they were dating.
Okay.
So Travis was asked about this on Pat McAfee, and he says he wants his brother to shut up because that's not true.
Okay.
So is there some
Kelce conflict?
Is there a Kelce conflict here?
Yeah.
He did say that he gave her the in to come and watch one of his games. So this is cut 13.
Your love life is being talked about by the whole entire world right now. If you would like to expand upon anything, please, we would like to know.
You're gonna give me the floor?
The floor is yours.
You're gonna give me the floor? I'll tell you what. It's fun. It's hilarious how much traction this has actually got. I think it's right now. It's like that old game in school called telephone, where everybody's just whispering in each other's ear, just hearing some random stuff, and then you got, especially no one actually knows what's going on. Well, especially when you got Jason Kelce on live television telling people just both sides. He doesn't know. It's true. It's this and that. He goes on Thursday Night Football, gets a big dub, gets asked about it by my guy Tony Gonzalez because his daughter had to know. And he tells everybody, the first thing he brings up is the catching Kelce, who I thought everybody got rid of that.
No, a lot of those. Hey, I've seen a lot of those videos. You did great. You did great in that.
He's been having a whole lot of fun since then, and he's still having fun. And then not even a week later, tell everybody that it's 100% true. I mean, the guy is absolutely ridiculous. Can't stay out of the freaking headlines. He was on the show yesterday saying he wants to be, or he not that he wants to be, but the fact that everyone thinks he's Ian Rappaport of my dating relationship.
Boom.
Please, everybody, stop asking my brother about.
We didn't ask. Want to let you know. Nope. We did not ask. We did not ask to put him in that situation.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
appreciate that.
You hate this? You hate that
but-
this is happening, though?
Yeah.
You hate that this is happening?
No, I mean, it's life, baby. It's life. I threw it out there. I threw the ball in her court. And, I told her, maybe I've seen you rock the stage in Arrowhead. You might have to come see me rock the stage in Arrowhead and see which one's a little more lit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the near future.
Dog. Travis! Hey!
All right, now.
All right now! Hey, let's go.
All right, man.
We're talking power couple. The NFL's in the game. We appreciate the hell out of you. You're the man. Good luck with everything.
There we go.
There's McAfee going nuts again in his tank top. So a couple of things with this, and we were talking about it when we were golfing yesterday, that Jason was on down the hall on the sports station, and so Travis doesn't understand why. Dude, you obviously know why this is a big thing in the world of pop culture and entertainment. You don't get too far down the list before you get to Taylor Swift's name as far as iconic superstars at this point.
Do you think?
I mean, she's as good as it gets. Whether you like her music or politics, the proof is in the pudding with the numbers. But this is the other thing that I'm a little confused by. I thought Travis and Jason, don't they do some sort of off-season podcast?
They do.
So Jason Kelce, I think, much like Travis, is going to have a career in media when he's done playing.
Yep.
And, Jason Kelce is a beloved guy. We talked about it last week with the figures here in Philadelphia sports. And he's got a lot of things to say. And I think at the end of the day, they're both just drumming this up. They don't care.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. There's a local angle to it.
Yeah, it's great for their brands.
it's just interesting to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's nutty. She'll go after Jason.
Oh, they're
or
both,
not Jason, Travis.
I just looked at their Wikipedias. Both Travis and Taylor are 33 years old.
In the prime of their lives,
yeah.
and ready to mingle.
So you think Taylor's a little nutty, and I've said she's overrated appearance-wise.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Well, I said that last week on the show.
You did. You did. You got a lot of hate from that.
So Greg and I will be in the conference room today with HR.
All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
There you go.
All right.
We should
That'll
break.
do it. Yeah. We'll do What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2 about 1 hour from now. We'll come back and get to Dawn Stenzelin's Big Three as we continue a Friday edition of Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
FanDuel Sportsbook, that's right. So Bubba45 on the YouTube chat writes, I hit your FanDuel parlay last night in the San Francisco versus New York Giants game. $20, and you won $167. Congratulations, Bubba45. I'm glad you used FanDuel.com/Greg. Snap into the NFL season with FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. You can bet on everything from spreads to player props, over-unders, so much more. You can do a parlay like Bubba did, turning $20 at $167. It's just that easy. FanDuel.com/Greg. Sign up right now. The official partner of the NFL and is official partner of 1210 WPHT. That's FanDuel. 1210. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue does not withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Inflation is nothing more than a legal form of theft, because with every new round of money printing, the value of your 401k or IRA is decreased through the dilution of the money supply. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and while you still can, I highly recommend you consider physical gold for your retirement account. Why? Because gold provides real wealth preservation that can withstand anything. Even better, with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group, you pay no penalties or taxes when you transfer your current retirement funds. To learn more, text the word SAFEGUARD to 989898. And my friends from Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust, so text SAFEGUARD to 989898 to request your free info kit on gold IRAs right now.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
Crash-Proof Retirement's consumer protection policies require oversight through video recordings on all consumer meetings, which are then kept on file, proving a full fiduciary responsibility to the highest level. In fact, Crash-Proof Retirement is the only firm in the country that exercises this level of transparency, which delivers peace of mind to the everyday consumer.
I'm Patty Parentozzi from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. The thing that impressed me with the Crash-Proof Retirement system is that all of the meetings that we have are recorded. It's very comforting to know that because everything is videotaped, they have nothing to hide. They're doing this to protect you. They want you to know that what they say they mean.
Find out what your advisor is hiding from you. Invite them to join you for a recorded meeting at Crash-Proof Retirement and see if they stand by the promises they made you on camera in our consumer-driven offices. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Wrap up the regular season at CBP when the Phils welcome Pittsburgh to Philadelphia on September 26th and 27th, both at 6:40, and September 28th at 6:05. Order tickets now at phillies.com. Whether you trade it or wear it with pride, you're going to want the Phillies Friendship Bracelet, presented by Nemours Children's Health. All fans receive one Wednesday, September 27th at 6:40 when the Phils host the Pirates. Order tickets now at phillies.com.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal Company, 842. Welcome back in. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, live here on this Friday morning. You can also get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube and on social media, Twitter and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. Just about 1 hour away from another Disney keyword. 9:50 this morning, we will give you that keyword. You go to 1210WPHT.com, enter it for your chance at a free trip to Walt Disney World. And we will have it for one more week next week when we come back for the last week of September.
I can't believe it's the last week of September.
I know.
I feel like we just got back from Labor Day. It's almost Halloween. It's unbelievable. Which, by the way,
it's just that this will be your second fall here, Nick Hale.
That's correct.
The falls and winters just go so. Fall's okay, but winter's just so long here.
I know.
It's so long.
I know. That's when my seasonal depression kicks back in.
It's horrible.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Any chance I can work remotely from Florida?
No.
From Thanksgiving till the Masters?
Nope.
On the road to go. We'll go visit it. We'll go visit Tony Bruno and Susie Cool. Other
Bruno's
friends.
building a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you should take a road trip, you know?
He only needs it for afternoons. Apparently they'll be wide open in the morning. Must be nice to get up at it.
Do like a Kayal and Company on the road show.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Absolutely. I've been advocating for that for 11 months to no avail. 855-839-1210, the number. Before we get to Dawn's Big Three, a lot of reaction to some of the stuff we were talking about in the cut sheet segment this morning. First of all, Sergeant Mark Fusetti comes firing out of the gates, and he says, "Oh, that's right. The 49ers won last night. Now I see why Greg Stocker sounds so happy today."
Stop.
They killed the Giants.
I am never going to. No, I had them.
Yeah, it was a good pick.
I had them on the 10.5.
Yeah, it was a big number, and they covered it.
Yep.
Nice work out of you. And Richard Notaro, Closet Swiftie, says, as having had the opportunity to meet a younger Taylor Swift, I can unequivocally state she is incredibly beautiful and in no way overrated.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, she's talented.
Yes.
And there's a reason that she has such a following. She's great at marketing and all of that. I don't think she's overrated.
I think she is. No, my overrated comment is on the appearance front. I'm not denying her ability as a singer. She's very good. I'm not a fan of her music.
Clooney over there.
But so I'm going to say something that's going to get a lot of people angry.
She's gorgeous. Nick, just stop talking.
So here's the deal.
Nick. Look, you won't believe what's happening in Chester County, Nick.
Oh, boy.
Oh, really? Wow.
I know. I'm serious.
Oh,
you got to get to the big three.
All right, let's get the hell with Taylor Swift.
Whoa.
We love Taylor Swift.
Swiftie, you've been kicked to the side.
No.
Dawn's making an executive decision here
It's
on the
fine
show.
by me.
I'm helping you out.
Because what I was about to say would probably have to lead to me putting my foot in my mouth, so she saved me. 8:45. Let's get to the big news. Dawn Stenzel's Big Three at 8.
It's the Big Three at 8 on Kayal and Company.
Sponsored by United Tire. A most wanted, escaped, convicted criminal who's an illegal pedophile predator, according to authorities, has been captured in Chester County, Pennsylvania.
Where all escapees
Can't make
go.
this up. What is up? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Authorities confirm 34-year-old Mario Chitul is in the country illegally, was in jail in Missouri for two more felony charges, as well as first-degree child molestation.
Oh, he's a double scumbag.
Ew.
Oh, God.
And this guy has been on the loose for 90 days. There has been a manhunt. Why didn't we hear about this?
Yeah.
This is they're very busy in Chester County. The U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, thank you, caught this guy at an apartment on Gap Newport Pike in Avondale, Pennsylvania.
Wow. I was just in Chester County yesterday golfing.
Wow.
Yeah, well.
I might have drove right by him.
Jeez.
Everybody in Chester County move because there's
goodness.
escaped criminals on the loose everywhere.
Do we know what made him go from Missouri to Chester County?
Yeah. Hello? What's going on?
Oh.
What's going on there?
So that was...
Who's the district attorney, Deb Ryan? Oh, in 2020, the first Democrat and the first woman in Chester County to be the DA. The Democrats took over, and we've never had this before.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Well, I mean, 14 days was bad enough, but imagine knowing that somebody's on the run for 3 months.
Was he here for 3 months?
Who knows?
So the capture follows his June 1st escape from this Berry County jail in Cassville, Missouri. And so many just wondering, how long was this guy here? Was he in Chester County? And this is a convicted criminal as well as wanted in the more pedophile cases.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So the community, this is going viral after 2 emotional meetings that we've been covering this week on Kayal and Company, with the passionate community twice coming out demanding a lot of answers.
Well, Cavalcante was unaccounted for 54 minutes when he escaped.
Yes.
I wonder how many minutes or hours went by in Missouri before they realized that this cat got loose.
Yeah, and to your point as well, how long has he been here? And is Chesco some kind of a destination?
Do we know what level of security prison he got out of in Missouri?
Oh, I don't.
That's
great. I will look up.
Obviously not a supermax, but still to this day, it's like, how do these guys get out? Like, I know understaffing is an issue, but it's just like, these are the types of stuff that you see in Hollywood, like in movies, like in 48 hours.
And so, then the domino impact, just like Cavalcante, we've said, if he had been deported when his, now victim murdered, if Cavalcante had been just deported because he was an illegal and had been accused, there was a protective order. So in this other case of another illegal individual who came to this country and then also went from Missouri to Chesco, if he had immediately been deported.
Yep.
And so raising a lot of questions about all of this.
Yeah, and this is a violent felon and also a pedophile to an extent.
Yes.
There's like when you go to prison, hardcore prison, you're better off going there having murdered your wife than molesting a child.
Yeah, well said.
Because that's like the one thing. And when they find out that you're a child, you better pray nobody finds out, man.
Well, they have maybe a better prison justice sense of things than some of our society
well said.
leaders. And speaking of that situation, at the same time, beefing up border security amid this historic surge of illegal crossings, Defense Department ramping up the resources at the southern border as officials describe a surge in these crossings, and especially Eagle Pass, Texas, where the mayor has actually declared a state of emergency. So 800 new active duty personnel being sent to the border, and that's on top of the 2,500 National Guard members that are already serving, as well as Homeland Security. And so this story, and Greg Stocker and his cut sheet have been talking about that. But this, as there's a new report from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration reporting that the two largest cartels in Mexico are one of the biggest employers, the fifth largest employer in Mexico. So a rather shocking report as the cartel being bolstered by all of this. So job growth in Mexico, and is that fueled by this open border? That's one of the questions. Number 3, President Biden, because Greg Stocker has been playing and Nick Hale's been talking this morning about Biden, Biden Gaffonomics or something. So in this one, Biden complimented the merits of the Congressional Black Caucus during a speech to the Congressional Hispanic Caucus yesterday.
The guy who's the king of playing to his audience and playing to his crowd gets it. I actually heard and saw the audio clip. He doesn't say Black Caucus, though. He says back caucus.
Oh my goodness!
Like chest, back, front, back.
Baby got
not
back.
Baby got back.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. Sir Biden mix a lot.
So this is the latest. It's his third public speaking gaffe in just 2 days.
I'm telling you.
We've been talking about the other ones.
We talked about it in the big take today. It's time they put him back in mothballs. Campaign from the basement. Put him in a mask and let him just do what he does in his basement in Delaware.
Well, we're sponsored by United Tire and the Big Three. We love our Philly sports teams just as much as they love us cheering them on. Same goes for the great team over at United Tire. The owners making customer satisfaction their top priority, working with you to get you back on the road faster. So when it comes to car service, trust United Tire. This is the Big Three.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210. Newman Price on Twitter says, Chester County's new tourist slogan, Chester County, where fugitives go to get caught up in the scenery.
Oh, my goodness.
It's amazing. I'm trying to leave Pennsylvania for a fifth time in my life, and everybody that gets out of a prison can't wait to get here.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what Pennsylvania can brag about. Yeah. PA, we're better than prison. Oh, hold on. You guys have to talk amongst yourselves. Headphones just cracked.
I'm glad you're making, because I have relatives with young kids who are freaked out.
What's that? I didn't hear you.
No, what's going on?
No, my headphones freaked out.
Are you need new ones?
I think so. The cord's a little frayed. But continue. You were saying?
No, I have friends and relatives with young kids in, Chester County who are freaked out over this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the trickle down effect. I don't think it's directly related to, like, when we talk about, prisons or juvenile detention centers, it's not directly from the defund the police movement, but you just have, we've been talking the last couple of days about all these professions and how people make great money. UPS drivers, our girl yesterday that's making $500,000 just to travel with wealthy businessmen. And then it's like, what is the incentive? And God bless those that, because I worked in a juvenile detention facility for 5 months. I hated it. It was like a $38,000 job, but I was out of radio and I needed a job. I'm like, all right, I'll just fall back on my degree and, I'll get the county benefits and stuff like that. But, some of these prison officers are probably making at entry level first year $48,000. Maybe there's time and a half or overtime where you pick up. We used to have a thing when I worked at Northampton County where you would once a month be mandated. So there's another reason why I hate mandates. But you would be mandated to work a double, and you'd get time and a half for it. But my shift was 7 to 3. But then one Friday every month and then one Saturday every other weekend, you had to do a mandated double. And you would be in there from 7 a.m. until about 11 p.m. unless things were really slow and they would cut you loose 9:30, quarter of 10. Now, this was painful for me just dealing with, well, first of all, I didn't want to be there. Secondly, the money was terrible. And third, I'm dealing with, kids anywhere from 12 up until 17. But now think about it. Yeah, but now think about it. Now magnify that 10 times over with hardened criminals, convicted killers, rapists, whatever, and say, the entry starting salary is $46,500. Okay. And what's the ratio of inmates to guards? It's 22 to 1. Okay. And then you got to deal with this type of stuff. And then you just look at the way law enforcement, which we can go from police to sheriffs, to detectives, to parole officers, to detention center workers, and things like that. It is such an like nobody appreciates what, like these people are there to keep the bad guys in check so they don't get out and keep doing what they do, because we know recidivism rates in many cases are very, very high. And I just feel for all of these people where it's like, they go in and deal with the dreck of society. They get spat on, they're cursed at. And then, in a lot of these settings, some of them don't have weapons, or they don't have a firearm, or you get like a baton or a taser. I don't know whether it's a taser or not, but, it's a very unsettling place to be as a worker. So when you see all these people escaping, it's like, I want to sit there and criticize the system, but I also realize that, these people can only do so much with the resources that are not given.
And to your point, they're trying to hire. And so I'm looking at, and this is the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, this is the recent pay scale listing.
Mm-hmm.
So the entry level with 5 years or less, they're paid $17 an hour.
Which is $35,000 a year.
Yeah, well, it's $17.85 technically, so it's about $37,000 a year. That's the basic. The average in Pennsylvania is $20 an hour, but the most, let's say you're 15 years or over on the job. So this is the highest paid person is making $29 an hour about. So it's like 62 plus thousand. That's like a veteran 15 to 20 years is only making $62,000. And then compare that with, you were just talking about, what the UPS, like drivers, delivery drivers, even part-time make more than that, double that.
Yeah. Wait, what would you rather deal with? A convicted killer or taking a box onto somebody's porch and having the dog go nuts? One will pay you $170,000, the other gets you $60,000, which in the Biden economy is like $42,000.
Yeah, and these are, these are really dangerous, not only just stressful and dealing, like you're saying, but just a dangerous job where you're not supported and where they have huge shortages
and
staffing shortages.
And then by the time you start making $62,000, you're probably in your 50s if you've been there for 20 years or so, and you're probably at the point where you're not as physically fit as you used to be, so you're probably more vulnerable to be overwhelmed by somebody that has no respect for authority and, oh, by the way, has nothing to lose because, well, I'm already in here for 15 to 20. Well, what the hell? What's another 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And that's the mindset people have when they're locked up in a cell 23 hours a day. So.
Well, especially somebody 5 feet, a guy who's 5 feet or under. He's like a little.
Yeah, our little Cavalcanti guy.
What do you think Bubba's going to do to you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's part of the reason he was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, there you go. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in on the show.
Before you go to break here,
Yep.
we're like 44 likes away from 200. So if you're watching right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, please hit the like button so we can get to 200 likes. What happens when you like the page is it gets in other people's feeds, and it's all algorithms. It's all about algorithms these days, kids.
That's right.
Make sure it's 43 or 45. Odd number.
Oh, no,
Just
stop.
to make him crazy.
And by the way, it's free. It's free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So please do that. And also, please hit up the merch store, 1210WPHT.com. The merch is there. I got a little detailed breakdown of shirts and mugs and everything that was bought over the last 2 weeks. And boy, I got to tell you, 1210 audience stepping up. We're doing a great job, but keep it coming.
Yes.
So 1210WPHT.com for all the merch. Kayal & Company's Yoli Army, Dom Time, Krasnerland.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Whatever Joe Biden hasn't taken from you, just give us the rest.
Dawn and I have come up with a interesting shirt idea for her.
Oh, can we hash it out on the other side? Can we talk about it?
Well, yeah.
Or is it still in the conference room phases?
No, I would like to get the audience's opinion
Let's do that, yeah.
on what a Dawn shirt should look like.
I
Dawn and
agree.
I have an idea.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
are you okay with this?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, let's either talk about this or the dreck of society for another hour. I choose Dawn's T-shirt.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT.
All right. Speaking of Dawn, let's get Dawn in here for a word for Parks.
Yeah, we got to talk about Parks because we love Parks Casino and Sportsbook, the only casino and sportsbook, as you know, that I've ever recommended. It's a great place. All the action, the excitement, the entertainment. I love Parks, and for years we've had so much fun, made so many memories, right? So let's take you there to Parks Casino and Sportsbook. If you don't have the app, will you please download their app? So here's a great idea for the weekend, a big day tomorrow, the biggest day for horse racing in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby and Cotillion Day as the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Parks Racing present $2 million races in one day featuring some of the top horses, jockeys, and trainers from across the nation. And it's all happening at Parks, P-A-R-X Racing, the horse track, right next to Parks Casino, of course, and right off Street Road exit 95 or off the PA Turnpike. Or if you're coming from the north, just take exit 6 off the Jersey Turnpike. Gates open 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Free family fun in the Parks Racing Picnic Grove. Free activities for the kids. A lot of food, a lot of beverages, specials all day long. This year's championship ambassadors are a pair of fan favorites, Philly Hockey's Keith Jones and Philly football favorite Seth Joyner, plus vocalist Kane Callis, Harry's son, are going to be performing God Bless America, live music, Fish Out of the Water, Uptown String Band. Oh my goodness, I could go on and on. Tomorrow in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. It's a lot of fun. By the way, you must be 18 to wager at Parks Racing and must be 21 to gamble. Parks Casino Gambling Problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today. Now in the foot care aisle.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Canadian officials cite surveillance of Indian diplomats and their allegation of India's involvement in the killing of a Sikh Canadian. A federal appeals court is hearing cases that could affect whether individual state government-sponsored insurance has to cover transgender care. And the Phillies beat the Mets 5-4 last night behind 4 RBIs from Nick Castellanos.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water
Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Connecticut water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Connecticut system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com. Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If your child needs support, special tutoring, and custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to call to Kathy Gannon, METC. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company for over 30 years. METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Gannon, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance. For your child to help them succeed, all you have to do is visit online at METC.com. METC's tutoring studio. Call them today, 215-493-4200, or email Kathy directly, info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. 215-493-4200, 215-493-4200.
Liberty Mutual presents How to Be the Life of the Party.
Okay, first turn the music off. Then ask for everyone's attention. Now, tell them that you customized your home insurance with Liberty Mutual and saved hundreds. Boom! Now everyone knows you're not just a pretty face. You have some brains inside that face that know how to save hundreds on home insurance. Woo!
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Based on recent survey of new customers who switched and saved. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Are you waking up soaking wet? Don't worry, you didn't wet the bed. It's sweat, which means your air conditioning probably needs service or needs to be replaced. Summer is still here for a few more months. If you want a company who's been servicing some of the same customers for 3 generations, with honest pricing, no gimmicks, and factory-trained technicians, then Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning is for you. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekane.com.
Drive in with Kayal and Company mornings 6 till 10. Drive home with Rich Zioli afternoons 3 till 7. Live and local on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, 9:05, Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free Odyssey app, live on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, at 1210 WPHT. You can email us, fax us, deliver us mail via the postal service. We actually get mail here. I just realized that like 2 days ago.
We do.
That apparently like all the hosts have a little mail slot in here. It's very interesting.
He's been here a year, Dawn. He just realized that.
I'm just like, wait, who's sending us mail? Apparently, we get mail.
There's a lovely woman who sends us all handwritten letters.
Yeah,
she's wonderful.
Old school.
Wonderful.
Great penmanship.
Wonderful woman.
When's the last time you heard the word penmanship? My grandmother used to say that all the time.
Cursive.
Take pride in your penmanship, and she would slap my elbow.
I have the worst handwriting of any human. Like it's abysmal. It's like I should be ashamed of myself the way my penmanship is. It is terrible.
Both of my parents had very good writing. I do as well. And my sister does as well. I don't know if it's just a take pride in the thing, if it's in your genes, so to speak.
Patch on our genes.
Might be a patch in my genes. I'm not really sure, but there you go. Little penmanship conversation. So we already got a tweet coming in because people want to know. They love the apparel. They love the swag and the merchandise. So Marcus Aurelius says, will the Dawn Show t-shirt be delivered with extra bubble wrap?
Wow, that's an old school reference.
How about that? I'm
Great idea.
Am I unaware of the backdrop to that tweet? Is there a story that I'm missing?
Oh yeah,
I don't know what they're talking about.
Dawn is Dawn. We used to call her the bubble wrap mom because she's the quintessential helicopter parent.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right, Dawn? And I say that with affection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. On some levels. But
No,
then
no, on some levels.
No, I mean
all levels. Sorry.
I think maybe the T-shirt should say on the front, The Dawn Show, and on the back, Bubble Wrap Lives Here. Which, by the way, let's get into this conversation because you guys were talking about it. So explain things, and we'll try to get some reaction to it.
So we were coming up with the ideas of, everybody has their own little niche thing on their shirt. So we were trying to think of what would a Dawn Stensland shirt look like. My thought would be, it's a sin.
Oh, I love that.
The Dawn Show. Or
It's a sin.
Dawn Stensland Show, whatever we're calling it these days.
Dude, that's gold.
Do we like that idea?
Yeah.
it's a sin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you. It's right. It's your brand.
Yeah.
It's short. It's sweet. Everybody knows what it means.
Yep.
There you go.
When I go to the Germantown Academy game, I'm going to have some of these shirts. I'm going to hand them out to all of them.
fun.
Yeah, have the cheerleaders shoot them up into the stands with like the potato gun. Get your Dawn Show shirt. It's a sin.
By the way, thank you, Natasha, for putting up the link for the 1210 merch. If you're watching right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHD. We're like 20 likes away from 200, by the way. There's a link right there to get the merch. So we like the Dawn Stensland It's a Sin shirt.
Yeah.
What colors would it be, though?
I was just going to say, was there a color or a graphic pattern?
Dawn?
A font that you're thinking? Dawn Show.
I don't
It's
know.
a sin.
Pink. You gonna do pink?
You going to do pink?
Orange.
Oh, October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You can do that little tie-in.
I like orange because it's the dawn and it's the morning.
Yeah.
Are people going to wear an orange shirt, though?
Well, no, I mean the lettering.
Oh. Okay.
All right, so my shirt is gray with white lettering. Dom's is black with the yellow print.
Yeah.
The New Zeoli, what color is the New Zeoli Army shirt?
It's like a bluish thing.
It's a bluish.
Yeah. I don't know.
Red?
Red? Dawn?
That's too strong.
What? It's a sin in red?
Yeah.
I like that.
There you go.
There you go. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Sharon wants it pink.
All right. What about pink with red lettering? Or is that just too awkward looking? I kind of like that.
Pink with red lettering is way too awkward.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
She's very uncomfortable talking about this. I don't know why.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Did you have any other slogans that you discussed besides It's a Sin?
No, that was it. Unless
Okay.
I gave her the homework to come up with it. I see she's been working hard on that. Really come up with something.
She didn't get home till 9:30 last night,
I
and then she
get
had to
it.
deal with the what a crock, and she had to pull out her beef stroganoff.
No, the what a crock saved me yesterday. No, I get home at 9:35, and then somebody has a paper, and they need help with the English paper,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that took me to 11.
Okay. And then she was here
to 11.
And Dawn got here at 3:30 this morning.
Wow, that's awesome.
By the way, beef stroganoff, totally underrated meal.
Yeah.
Does not get the love it
So
deserves.
good.
Not enough in the rotation in most households. So figured
True.
we'll share those hot takes for
Making
you
me hungry.
this morning. There you go. All right, so the Dawn Show, It's a Sin, seems to be the front runner. Should we take suggestions?
Yeah, if you have suggestions on stuff to put on Dawn's shirt, put it in the YouTube chat or tweet us. Don't forget Twitter.
Right.
At 1210WPHT on Twitter. Michael Pelka, who's in the chat, says, I like black with red lettering of It's a Sin.
Okay.
Is that too gothic for you, Dawn? Dawn's not really gothic, so it's a little...
Yeah, that's true.
No. Black with the red. What about just you go white with just like a red drip? It's a sin.
It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. The Dawn Show on the front and on the back has never been surrounded by a handyman or worked with a handyman.
Needs a handyman.
As we established that yesterday. And by the way, guys, when the shirts come available, buy it. Dawn gets 80% of the proceeds.
No,
She's got
I don't.
boys to put through college.
1210WPHT.com to get the merch. How about that though? How about Dawn Stensland, 6 hours of radio and also mows the lawn on the back?
That's my workout. That's just my workout instead of the gym, which I need to go to the gym anyway. But I'll just go out, and it's a great time of year to work out.
Yeah.
Nicholas writes a shirt that reads, "It looks so big in my hands."
Stop.
If you were paying attention earlier this week, you know what we're talking about.
I know, and I was talking about Kayal and Company.
I got a lot of hate mail, by the way, from that.
Are you serious?
An entire family. An
Oh
entire family reached out to me.
Oh, jeez.
The mother, the husband, the daughter, everybody reached out to me.
I thought the left was the party of perpetual offensiveness and being bothered by everything they see and hear.
I mean, seriously, I was trying to say.
I know what you're trying to do.
Look at the. It's hard. I wish I had like a regular size cup, and then I could show you. That it's, what was it, 15, 16 ounces.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I know there probably would be a little more expensive, and it doesn't have to be the name brand. But if we had like station hosts, whether it's our show, Dawn, Dom, or Rich, where you can not only buy the mug but buy one with our logo on a Yeti, because I got to tell you, the Yeti, there's very few products that I am loyal to in this lifetime, but I will give you two right now. I will forever own a Yeti. I try to get a new one every 2 years or so because they get beat up. And the Pilot G2 pen.
What?
Yes. As a person that spends way too much time writing things down on tablets, I am loyal to the Pilot G2 pen. The best pen of all time. Just wanted you guys to know that.
Is it an expensive pen?
No, and you go to Staples and you get them like in a 3-pack or a 7-pack. It's like, the blue pen. It's,
these are great gifts, but I will say this. My husband loses everything.
Yeah.
Like, I literally put an AirTag in his freaking wallet because it's like 20 minutes a day searching for fill in the blank. Dad can't find his, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The wallet, the keys.
Yep.
So I put an AirTag on the keys, and I put an AirTag on the wallet.
Yep.
It's like, oh my god, the shoes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Lost a suit coat where's the suit coat? Left it somewhere. Leather coats.
How do you just lose that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, I understand a small object from time to time. Like, I can even understand, the phone. Even though none of us can put a phone down and it's almost become permanently glued to our palms, I can understand why sometimes people misplace their phone. But a coat?
Oh, you wouldn't even believe the stories.
That's what kids do in the wintertime. I lost my coat.
And but I swear it's like genetic. So in the Menti family, like everybody has stories about it's like it's in the families. It's like certain, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Soggy Donuts writes, Yeti is woke.
It is?
It? All right. You know what? What's his name? Soggy Donuts? Yeah. I'll throw this in the trash can when I get home. Is there a conservative Yeti out there that I can get?
Yeah, Ryan Mannion. Remember when they gave us? I don't think it was that brand, so we should look that up.
Yeah.
Who cares if they're woke? If you like the product, just buy it.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
You have to do your research on everything. It's ridiculous. Stop.
Well, I don't even know if they're. I just know they're really expensive.
Yeah.
And so there's no way I'm paying that much,
Well,
and then it'll
Yeti?
be lost.
I've got, this is the...
It'll be lost.
It will be lost.
This is
like
the 20
in 5
ouncer.
days.
This is like $29, $30.
For a coffee cup.
Well, I use it every day.
Wawa sells those for you know what I mean?
Yeah, but some of them have like the terrible tops where they just are like really loose, and I'm a Yeti guy.
I agree with you. I'm a Yeti guy
got
too.
a Yeti too. Stalker fills it up 4 times a day.
Well, right now
I don't have Yeti. I have something else, but it works just as good.
Right now I have a Ninja.
A Ninja.
Yeah. I'm very loyal to the Ninja brand as well.
He has a Ninja and a Cabana Boy. Greg Stalker.
Well, you can afford that when you're the associate producer, or I'm sorry, the executive producer of the morning show. You're the brand manager. You're the third voice. You've been here.
How many job titles?
He's been here since the Reagan administration. And, you got away with that.
Speaking of that, I got a little hate mail or hate tweet.
Just stop looking at the hate.
You're right. Should we get back to
hate has no
Will that
home
make you
here.
happy, Fred? Will
Will
it?
We talk a little Trump.
Maybe we can spend 2 more hours talking about Trump v. DeSantis.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while.
Bob writes about me responding to Sergeant Mark Fu, who was talking about me being happy the 49ers won.
Mm-hmm.
He says he still has a job. I thought his lips were permanently attached to Smirkanish's butt.
Whoa.
Which we all saw. Remember that Philadelphia magazine? I'm still scarred by that.
So I just responded to him, and I just said, I run the place, but tell me again what your scary talents are.
Yeah. You're always looking for new talent, right? You're always trying to build up a bench and groom the next generation.
Yeah.
Scary talents.
Thank you.
I love that slogan.
Thank you, Bob, listener. But you can continue to listen.
Yeah.
You know, listener, listener,
Yeah.
Bob, listener.
Scary talents.
Well, he follows another low energy host.
Yeah.
That used to work here.
That's
so
awful.
I take those people with a grain of salt.
Sounds like a him problem. All right, that was fun. So yeah, once the Dawn Show shirt is official, I'm sure we'll put it up in the YouTube chat and get you to take a look at it. We'll rate, we'll review, and then you guys can purchase it. And again, remember, all proceeds, actually 80% of it goes to Dawn's college fund for her children. So there you go.
Did you just call me a groomer, Nick?
Yes, yes. That's the job of a brand manager.
A brand groomer?
Yes, the brand groomer. Develop the next wave while still kicking butt today. You never know. High-profile talent could get snippy, and one day they have a lawsuit and they go to a competitor.
Yeah,
for a startup site.
I mean, or a morning show host could drink himself into oblivion.
Yeah. Or an afternoon host could, punch his producer, and next thing you know, he's fired. It's an imperfect world.
You always have to look out. The only person I'm not worried about is the great Dawn Stedler.
Yeah,
she's not.
You're sweet.
There's going to be no scandal that's going to take her down.
Yeah, radio's a very fickle business. Here today, gone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They will expunge you and scrub you off the site so quick your head will spin. 855-839-1210.
That's the funniest thing about radio too, is that they completely erase you like you never existed.
I've had one radio job where I left, and I've only ever been fired one time due to budget cuts. But I've only been able to say goodbye to my audience one time, and that was when I left Philadelphia sports for satellite sports. And you very rarely get a chance to tell your audience.
It's true.
That you're leaving.
Yeah.
Usually it's just all right, he can't be on anymore. So
it's just funny because we're really the only show that even acknowledges that there has been a past on this radio station.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
well put.
No other station
Right.
will say anything about. I mean, maybe the new morning show will talk about Angelo and Reverence. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for the most part, it's like those other shows, those other hosts never exist.
Mm-hmm.
I'll run down the list of everybody that's been on this radio station. I still mention Smirkanish. He hasn't been on this radio station in 15 years.
You start doing that, you're going to get all sorts. If you want your Twitter to blow up, start going through all the hosts of the past. I guarantee you, YouTube and your Twitter mentions will explode.
Well, I mean, Tony Bruno was a host here, Morning Drive.
But hosts of the past, take off the G, ghosts of the past.
Yeah.
You could have some fun with that.
We should do that around the holidays.
Yes.
Well, when Bruno was on 1210, it was WCAU, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
What's worked here? What hasn't? You know what I mean? Look, I'm an open book. I will say whatever. You know what I mean?
Same here.
To my people always say you say too much sometimes. Yeah, I know.
No. Well, what are you
It's
gonna do?
one of my defaults.
All right. By the way, we just did a nice 20-minute segment without even talking anything news or politics related.
Oh man,
Folks,
as a brand manager, I should fire myself.
You should, and then you're going to look at the numbers and be like, oh, so that's why this show does so well. Okay. All right, 9:20. It's a Friday morning. Let's give something away with what's it's the morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Look, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I know you guys are trying to help, but the truth of the matter is, I've had a hell of a day, an even worse month, and the fact is, I got 40 strangers out in my living room, and all I want to do is get some sleep. So I'm sorry, but we're not starting a fraternity.
I don't know why you got to do it in front of the kid with the effing. All you got to do is say earmuffs to him. Earmuffs. You can say whatever you want.
Think you know what it is? Be caller 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
A $50 gift card to the Metro Diner if you can be caller 12 right now at 855-839-1210 and identify that movie clip we just played. $50 gift card, Metro Diner, caller 12, 855-839-1210. See if we get our winner when we come back. Dawn's Big 3 at 9:30. And then what's on the cut sheet part due as we roll into another weekend on Kayal & Company. And we're back after this.
What's a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? There's only one way to know. Go win a magical vacation package to experience an amazing collection of thrills. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, you and your family take control of the Millennium Falcon or launch into the exhilarating world of the Grid on the all-new Tron Light Cycle Run, presented by Enterprise. It's one of the fastest coasters in Disney Park history. Just listen to Kayal and Company weekday mornings at 9:50 for the daily keyword and enter it at 1210WPHT.com/contests for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Get your thrill on. Limit 1 entry per day per person. This is a national contest.
Virtua Health is here for you, all of you. Here for the run-of-the-mills, the out-of-the-blues. Here for everything in between. And with our Rowan University partnership, we're here, rethinking the way academic medicine feels. Welcome to a more convenient, smarter healthcare experience. And that's more good for everyone. Find a Virtua physician or location near you at virtua.org. Virtua Health, now more than ever, here for good.
Life can get hectic. It's easy to lose focus and balance. It's time to retreat from the noise. Take a breath, regain your inner peace. Visit Malvern Retreat House, the nation's oldest and largest Catholic retreat house. Our stunning 125-acre campus is the perfect place to step back, reflect, and recharge. Malvern Retreat House hosts men and women's retreats, helping individuals live life centered on Christ. Go to malvernretreat.com to discover your journey. Retreat from the noise. Hear God's voice.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly rated hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Canadian officials cite surveillance of Indian diplomats and their allegation of India's involvement in the killing of a Sikh Canadian. A federal appeals court is hearing cases that could affect whether individual state government-sponsored insurance has to cover transgender care. And the Phillies beat the Mets 5-4 last night behind 4 RBIs from Nick Castellanos.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
There's
There's nothing like football season. And this year, fans in Philly can listen to Penn State football free. Catch every Nittany Lions game live with Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free on the Odyssey app. Every touchdown, every tackle, every win. All right here. To get started, download the Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY. And search for WPHT. Available for Philadelphia listeners only.
It was the day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Hey, West Berlin, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Kayal and Company, 9:29, Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210. What's on the cut sheet? Part 2. Dawn's Big 3 at 9:30 coming up in just a few moments. But let's give away our $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. And we're going to go to Chris, who is in Plymouth meeting, and he's our winner this morning. Chris, good morning. What was the movie clip we just played for you 5 minutes ago?
Old School.
Oh, yes, indeed, brother. Old School is correct. $50 gift card. Metro Diner is yours. So enjoy that, Chris, and have a great weekend. Thanks for listening, buddy.
Hey, thanks. I love you guys.
All right. Well, we love you too, brother. Thank you very much. Chris up in my neck of the woods, the winner this morning on the Morning Mystery Movie Clip. Okay, 9:30. Let's get some news and some stories. And for that, it's time for Dawn Stenzelin's Big 3 at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Today marking 1 year since the still unsolved murder of a Temple University grad student, Everett Beauregard. The victim's parents were in the House gallery during a commemoration of his life, while also highlighting the ongoing violence and crime gripping the city of Philadelphia. And so it turns out that U.S. Representative Brendan Boyle, who's a Democrat, was honoring Beauregard, who actually was his former intern. He knew him, and highlighting this. And as the family, the victim's family, still asking for the 23-year-old's justice in this case.
1 year.
1 year. Can you believe that?
No.
So that surveillance video, which is chilling, capturing the cold-blooded killing, which police say was unprovoked, as you see a man walking past Beauregard, then suddenly turning around and shooting him to death, happened in University City 1 year ago today. So his parents, his family, just making another plea for justice as the killer is still on the loose.
Yeah, I mean, obviously horrific even when it is, quote, provoked. But I just saw, it was 2 or 3 days ago, Sergeant Mark Fusetti posted a video of surveillance footage of somebody essentially executing somebody at point-blank range on the street. He walks past him, turns back around, does like a 360, and then just pulls out a gun and shoots the guy right in the back of the head.
And that's basically this one. So to your point, we've talked about this. Is this something where it's a challenge, a gang initiation? Is it something on social media? What is this? But we're seeing this more and more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost, not only is it the complete disregard for human life, but it's like this is some game that they're playing. Like, I always bring up Call of Duty, the video game. Like, no, that's fake. Like, you don't do that in real
Same.
life. It really is.
So Congressman Bob Brady, a household name here in our area, I'll tell you what, he reminds me of our favorite, Nick Hill's favorite bus driver.
Oh, yes, uh-huh.
How much more do you expect me to take?
So he's fuming with, why is he so angry at, Governor Josh Shapiro and U.S. Senator John Fetterman, his fellow Democrats, and Bob Brady, sort of more of a traditional Democrat, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, the quote is, "To hell with them."
Wow.
Why is he so angry? Because he's saying, why are you guys, the new Dems, I guess, why are you endorsing the Working Family Party at risk of eliminating fellow Democrats?
Oh, okay.
And so he's very upset with these so-called progressive Dems who are not endorsing traditional Democrats, right? And
Yep.
instead going for the Working Family Party.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the progressive wing of the Democratic Party has hijacked that whole side.
So he's not happy about it.
I'd love to get some. I wish we had audio. We could do a compare and contrast with our bus driver from Ohio.
So we also have number 3 on a lighter, brighter note. We've talked a lot in the news about canines, and especially with the Cavalcante search, and as well in Chester County, they have promised to beef up the canine forces. And so we're seeing now in the Haverford Township Police Department, they've named their newest canine officer, Winnie, and getting some support from a Philadelphia sports legend. So police in Haverford there, congratulations, Eagles center and captain Jason Kelsey.
The Eagles!
The better brother. He is now helping to provide and sponsor the newest canine officer, Winnie, who's a 2-year-old black Labrador retriever and new canine of the year there in Haverford Township.
So the name is Winnie, like Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
W-I-N-I.
Very sweet.
Interesting.
Winnie.
Wasn't that Winnie's name in The Wonder Years as well?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Greg Stocker's like, I love that show, The Wonder Years.
Yes. And Paul Pfeiffer is not Marilyn Manson, folks. We've debunked that theory as well.
So thank you to the better brother, our own Jason Kelsey. Enough nonsense with the lesser brother.
Exactly. He's the only Kelsey that matters in this city until we get Kansas City again in the Super Bowl. Then we got to take out Travis.
Yes. This is the Big 3 right here on Kayal and Company.
All right, 9:35. Let's get to round 2. It's What's on the Cut Sheet, Part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. Everybody's favorite GOP candidate who has no shot, Chris Christie, was on his favorite outlet, CNN, yesterday.
He's been quiet for a couple of weeks, too.
Has he been? Because I feel like...
I don't think we've talked about him much lately.
Well, it's just, no, he hasn't. He's just been on every station. It's just that I haven't.
Okay. Christie overkill.
Pulled clips of it, yeah,
Right.
because it's the same stuff. Over and
Okay.
over again. He was on with Wolf Blitzer yesterday. And he's telling Trump, because there's a big debate next week. He's telling Trump, because I guess Trump went after him on Truth Social. I don't understand Trump's attacking Christie on Truth Social. I mean, just ignore him, right?
Yeah.
Never punch down.
Right.
We talk about this all the time. Don't punch down.
Yeah.
But he went after him on Truth Social. So, of course, Christie responded to him, threatened him, told him to stop being a coward.
Is he still
and
saying
debate him? And
is he still saying that he's going to follow Trump around and force him to debate? Remember that?
It sounds like it.
I'll show up wherever you are, tough guy.
Cut 14 there, Natasha.
That are coming up right now. As you probably know, Donald Trump, he posted a series of social media attacks going after you, attacks against you last night. He called you, and I'm reading now, a grifter. He attacked your record as governor of New Jersey, and he attacked your campaign. He clearly sees you as a potential significant rival.
Right. Well, he said himself, Wolf, a few weeks ago, I only attack number 2. Well, he has stopped attacking Ron DeSantis, and he started attacking me. You and I have sat here before and had this conversation. I told you that I was going to gain in this race. We've seen it now in all the polling in New Hampshire. I'm a second place in New Hampshire. We are going to take on Donald Trump directly. And he doesn't like it when he's taken on directly and he's confronted. I'm the only one on that stage who was unwilling to raise my hand beside Asa Hutchinson and say I wouldn't support a convicted felon for president of the United States. He doesn't like when people stand up to him and call him out on the nonsense that he's involved in. And I guess he had a bad night last night. Maybe he had some bad Chinese food or something, Wolf. But at 11:30 at night, a little indigestion, decided to attack me. Keep it coming, Donald. And by the way, if he had any guts, he'd get on the debate stage, and he's got things to say about me. Stop hiding behind your social media site, your failed social media site, Donald, and start taking me on directly. Show up. Stop being a coward.
Wow. Christy, tell us how you really feel, boss. That was pretty hardcore. Well, I mean, you don't have to debate anybody when you're up 60 points. We've established that. It's great strategy. And, yeah, he can sit there and say that he's ahead of DeSantis, which he is. But he's not like he's the clear-cut number two. I mean, right now, if you're ranking 2 through 5, DeSantis is 5 in at least one of the polls. You know, Vivek had his little rise, and he's kind of dipped, like the arrow's kind of flattened out on him. If he was a stock, it wouldn't be an upward trajectory anymore, I don't think. To me, Nikki Haley is probably the one that I think most people would unanimously agree is number 2. And, you know, there hasn't been much back and forth between Trump and Nikki, although on Cut Sheet Part 1 this morning, Nikki was about as strong as she could be against Trump, so we'll see if maybe Trump, sets his sights on her on truth around 11:30 tonight.
You know what's funny is that he's playing for New Hampshire. Yeah. DeSantis is playing for Iowa. None of them seem to really be playing for
They all know
the presidency
because they all know they're not going to win.
Well, that's what I
but
mean.
they have to make it.
I know.
It's all over after New Hampshire and Iowa.
Yes.
If they just keep where do we just say Vivek came in second? He was just on Fox a second ago, or like within the last hour.
Oh, shocking.
I know, right? But what I'm saying is, I just think they're done after New Hampshire and Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't make the showing, it gets embarrassing.
Yeah.
And plus that for like Nikki Haley or Governor DeSantis, they don't want to lose. They don't want to just keep the embarrassment going. They don't want to lose in their own states.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How about Christie with a 90s dig there? What, did you have some indigestion from bad Chinese?
And why does he? It's almost as if he talks about with Trump. He specifically uses words like indigestion and talks about guts.
I know, like he's like 5'10", 170.
But I think he almost like he almost is egging on people to take the bait.
He's a walking ad for Prilosec.
But that's what
the hell is he talking about?
I think he wants these jokes just to keep his name alive.
Mm-hmm. Well, Greg has said everybody's trying to find their lane.
Yeah.
His lane is the trash-talking bully to bully Trump.
Well, Peter brings up a great point on the YouTube chat. By the way, we're 7 likes away from 200, so please hit the like button so we can get to 200. Peter writes, "What is his platform? He hasn't said anything but blast Trump." Well, that's it. That's his platform.
Mm-hmm.
His platform is he's going to be the anti-Trump. He's going to be the only person in the race, aside from Asa Hutchinson or whatever, who has less of a chance than Chris Christie does.
Yeah.
Of being the anti-Trump candidate. He thinks that plays.
Yeah. There's a better chance of Dawn bringing in some leftover beef stroganoff on Monday for me and Greg than Asa Hutchinson doing anything.
You have to hide it.
Whatacrock.com, promo code WPHT.
Thank you, sir.
Since we're plugging, I'm the plug master.
Yes. You know how to plug. Well, as you know.
I bring it. Oh, boy. It's not right.
The latest Iowa poll, Trafalgar Group.
Mm.
Did you already say this, Nick?
I did. Oh.
No.
Maybe Trump is plus 33. No, wait, excuse me. Trump, 49%.
Yep.
Then DeSantis, 16%. Then Haley, 8. Ramaswamy, 7. Scott, 7. Pence, 4. And Christie has 2.
Hey, you got 2.
He's not. There's a lot of number 2s.
2%.
No.
Yes.
And Christie floating around in the same. There's a lot of
floater.
Christie is the smallest turd in the punch bowl, which is odd because he's the biggest in the bowl, actually.
This is real clear politics. I'm just looking down the list.
Yeah.
In the Reuters latest, Reuters, Trump 51%, but DeSantis 14, Ramaswamy 13, and then Haley, Pence 4%, Christie 2. Oh, Christie's a solid number 2.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a loose number 2. It's a soft number 2. It just depends. Could have some bad Chinese.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just think
It's this great, astute political analysis that people do.
I know, right?
For.
No. I'm giving this is Iowa.
Yeah.
So the first one, Trafalgar, was Iowa. The second one was the actual just overall, not necessarily Iowa or New Hampshire.
Right.
But my point is DeSantis is not even. He's not even breaking into the 20% ish is.
Yep.
He's not even breaking that. And so that one, that gets embarrassing for him as the Florida governor, but then everybody underneath him.
It's just with Christie, too, with the tough guy act and trying to trash talk Trump and out Trump. I just want to know, where's the group of people that when they see him on TV and he has these big braggadocious statements, or those that see it on social media, is anybody actually like clapping and fist pumping it? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, Christie's going right after. I don't think there's a group of people out there that sit there and say, man, I tell you what, I love the fact that Chris Christie goes after Donald Trump. I don't know that reaction exists.
There is.
You do?
There's a small section of the Republican Party that is they do not like Trump.
Well,
and
of course I know that, yeah.
they want somebody that is not Trump.
Would you qualify those people as the never Trumpers, or would you qualify those people as the most moderate of the bunch in the Republican Party?
I would consider them moderate Republicans.
Okay.
I.e. rhinos?
Correct.
I mean, you can call them what you want. I'm calling them moderate Republicans.
Christie is probably the most moderate of all those names we've rattled through on the GOP side, right? I mean, that's not up for debate.
NSA spokesperson Jake Sullivan took to the podium yesterday before Corinne Jean-Pierre to ask about how much taxpayer money has been spent sending to Ukraine.
Wow.
Great question, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think he can answer this? Cut 5.
First, with regards to the United States' commitment to Ukraine, there are 26 Republican lawmakers, including 6 senators, a small minority, as you mentioned before, who sent a letter to the OMB director saying that they were unaware of just how much the administration has spent thus far in support of Ukraine. They know how much was appropriated, obviously. But they don't know how much has been spent thus far. Do you have a general figure you can give us?
I'm not going to stand here and give a precise figure. What I will tell you is that we have supplied to the Congress every dollar that has been obligated. So if they are unaware, it's because they are not looking at the reports that we are submitting to the Hill. And
well, he might not be able to give you a specific number, but I can give you a specific number, as in today. They just approved another package for Ukraine and Zelensky a day after Zelensky was here for his handout. How's another $325 million sound? I mean, we can't give you $1 billion this time, but I've got $325 million for you.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
Dude, I've lost track.
Yep.
I mean, I'm like the government losing track of COVID funding. I can't even know what the number is anymore.
I mean, if it's our money, we should know how much has been, right?
Yeah, as Tim Scott said in round 1 of the cut sheet, it's not the federal dollars. It's your tax dollars.
Exactly.
We are paying for this.
The CDC director, Mandy Cohen, was on with CNN's morning show this morning. You said yesterday that the new strain of COVID, Nick, is basically a cold.
Doctors don't even know it's COVID until they test you for it.
So, will masks return to school? And is it good policy? Which is a better question.
Yeah.
Do you think the new CDC director, Mandy Cohen, can answer that? We'll see.
I want to ask you about the recent uptick, because we have seen the numbers go up over the last month or so. With that recent uptick, there are several school districts that are now requiring masks once again. Is that a good policy? Is that something that should be happening, that we go back to masking at this point?
You know, we're in a different place than we were before. We're outside of the emergency, but COVID is still with us. And we know that we have tools to protect us. We've been talking about vaccines being one, and I hope everyone gets an updated vaccine. But we have others, testing, treatment, and other common sense solution. And yes, masking is one of those solutions that folks could choose to use to protect themselves from this virus. It's important to know your own risk. Are you around folks who are older or who have underlying conditions? Then we need to use more layers of protection. The fact is we have tools, we need to use them, and we're going to keep talking about the ways folks can protect themselves.
Do you think that this is a good recommendation that schools should be masking now? As I said, there are several schools, I think Maryland, one of them, where they're saying, okay, now you have to mask again.
Well, look, we want folks to be reacting to what they're seeing on the ground in their community and making sure that they're protecting themselves. We want folks to know that there are tools that they can use, but there are more things than masks. Remember, ventilation. Don't forget your vaccine. Wash your hands. Stay home when you're sick. These are layers of tools that we have right now, and we want to just empower folks to use those tools and support them in any way we can.
Oh, my God. Mandy Cohen. So you claim, your words, not mine, we're in a different place, yet your policies are essentially still the same. Use masks on kids, which we know is a complete and utter waste of time. Take a vaccine, which we know does not prevent blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, we're going to go. What they're going to do is they're going to just use the word recommendation because recommendation is much more soft. It's not as in your face as mandate. Mandate's got a very negative connotation to it. So they'll toss out the recommendation, and the same school districts that fell for it before, that are left wing or Democrat, the whole bit, they'll be the ones like we saw in California, we saw in Maryland, and I still stand by this. When we come back from Thanksgiving break, I'm telling you there will be a 5-day, 7-day, 10-day precautionary stretch where masks pop up in and around this area again in schools.
Yeah, there's no question in my mind that that's going to happen. Yeah, right. I mean, it's inevitable.
It is inevitable.
They love the masks. They love them
because once they say that there's no then they're telling you they're useless. Not masks. The CDC, like the CDC's trying to stay relevant. Once they tell you all is good, we're never going to think about this. I never even heard of the CDC until COVID came out.
Stop. I think that a lot of schools are looking toward making the breaks longer so that if you travel, you can then mitigate coming back and dealing with anything. So that's one of the ways that I think school districts are looking at it so that they can get away from exactly what you're talking about.
And if he does take a media break, and I'm talking about our little buddy Fauci, just guarantee somewhere around Halloween-ish, first week of November, he'll be back out on all the TV shows being interviewed again, and he'll be talking about if you gather for a congregational setting with family members, and he's going to do that speech again. It's going to be the same thing.
One more, and then you can do the Disney keyword, which is going to come up momentarily here. You played this in the big take, but I wanted to play it again because that seems like it was 17 hours ago.
It was 17 hours.
This was from CBS News, and it was Americans who voted for Biden in 2020, getting their reaction on him now, his age, and everything like that. They went to what's interesting to me about this clip is that they went to Westchester, Pennsylvania, to get these reactions. This is cut 15. How do we feel about Joe Biden now? These people who voted for Biden in 2020. Westchester, Pennsylvania, we go. Cut 15.
I think he's too old to be president right now. Like, he doesn't know what's going on right now.
I see him diminishing as far as his energy and the public life. I mean, it's like he had to drink a monster drink or something just to stay awake. You know what I mean? Like, he's really just very tired, and the job is arduous. So, I mean, you need someone with a little more energy level. I think that will put him down.
I think he needs to be in front of voters to show that he's not the sort of doddering old man that the Republicans are trying to make him out to be.
See, here's the question. Is the $1 million follow-up should be after those answers. Well, that being said, will you vote for the alternative this time around, as in Donald Trump? Or will you just sit it out? Or will you still vote for Joe? My fear is there are still going to be plenty of people, regardless, as long as Joe's breathing, they will vote for Joe because there'll be feelings over facts, and they'll say, well, it's still better than the alternative. That's the sad part of where people are. Westchester, PA. I didn't even know that was local.
Yep.
Nice pull by
you. Yeah, they were there. CBS News looks like they were there on Saturday. Okay. So getting, I mean, look, there's going to be more and more people planted here, the media meaning, because this is a huge, huge state for any sort of primary, any sort of election.
That is correct.
Which is why they're trying to move up the primary to join Florida's on March 19th. That's
Mhm.
what we've been talking about, that they keep trying to push Pennsylvania's primary instead of April.
Right.
It would be on that critical date, March 19th, and that would go along with Florida, Arizona, Illinois, Kansas, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I mean, Iowa's they're claiming it's going to be January 15th.
Wow.
So tick-tock. I mean,
Yeah.
this is right around the corner.
Absolutely. All right, and speaking of right around the corner, we'll find out who on Twitter today and what's on tap for the Dawn Show. But first, it's time for the final keyword of the week. Every day at 9:50 for the month of September, we give you a keyword. You take that to 1210wpht.com and enter it for your chance to secure a free trip to Walt Disney World. And today, the keyword is splash. S-P-L-A-S-H, as in Kayal and Company has been a splash since day one. Or you could use it in a sentence like when Chris Christie goes off the diving board, there's a big splash. S-P-L-A-S-H. Splash is your keyword. 1210wpht.com. Good luck. One entry, one contestant per day per keyword. All right. Dawn Show coming up in 7 minutes. What do we got lined up this morning, Dawn?
Chester County's Guy Shiraki. You know, we already planned to talk to him about everything else that's going on with this week, with rallies, for example, on the old courthouse steps. People still very upset in the wake of the escaped killer, speaking of Cavalcante. But with news spreading now of another escapee, this time an accused pedophile, violent criminal in Chester County. What's going on? So we'll check in with Guy Shiraki. And then at 11, we'll talk to Brian Hart, our friend who is a Temple alum as well, talk about what happened 1 year ago today to a Temple grad student, and as well the latest with real tragedies striking Temple, and look for some optimism as well as important commemorations of Temple alum. There's so much breaking, so much happening on this Friday.
Yep.
We got it all covered.
Yeah, I said that yesterday. I mean, the last calendar year to 18 months for Temple University, every headline's negative. I'm glad
And tragic.
I'm glad they still call me asking for donations. Yeah, get your act together.
A prominent Temple alum, our own Nick Kayal.
Yeah, and a broke alum. But that's my problem.
No, it is your problem.
Yes. 9:54.
Everybody's broke. Bidenomics, my friend.
Damn right. Let's find out who won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
Eric, our buddy Eric, wins Twitter. He says, I need the audiobook of John Kennedy reading that book so I can play the sound bites at Thanksgiving this year when my uncles ask what's new.
Which Kennedy would go over better at the Thanksgiving table? John or RFK?
Oh, well, yeah.
No relation, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, so Eric, you win Twitter on this Friday. By the way, don't forget Dom Giordano live at Mulligan's Shore Bar in Wildwood, New Jersey today, starting at noon. His special guest, live and in person, slinging some beers, will be Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey Grammer, our own Frasier, will be Dom's special guest. Mulligan's Shore Bar, Wildwood, New Jersey. Get down there. Say hi to Kelsey, Dom, and the whole team.
Woo!
It's
All right.
awesome.
Very good.
Exciting.
That'll
Pick up
do
some
it.
beers.
Yeah. Good beers, too.
Yeah.
That'll do it for us here on this Friday. Stay tuned. The Dawn Show is next. We're back on Monday at 6. Have a great weekend. And until then.
Sick of you. Sick of all of this shit.